Hello there, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going great. Are we on YouTube?
I don't know. There was something. I was having some technical issues, and I wasn't even sure if if it was working on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, what do you know? Well, yeah, it looks like it did. It did actually start a stream. So yeah, we are. What do you
Maybe
know?
somebody will find it eventually
Look
because
at
I
that!
think that it didn't
Look at
do
that!
it didn't do the standard thing, so maybe people don't even know
Yeah,
that
it
we're on
was a
YouTube. But
little technical weirdness tonight, but yeah,
I,
it
I do
seems to
see people on
be.
the Rumble side, so
Yeah,
hopefully,
yeah,
people will find us. I see
yeah.
Rockstra, and he says he can see and hear us, which is already good.
Yes, yeah. So yes, the YouTube stream does look like it did finally. It
Did
did kick.
finally somehow
It
do
did
it, and
kick
maybe
in. Yeah, when you went live, it did kick in.
it
So
did kick in. So, well,
what all
yeah,
was going
I
on there
think I know what
before?
happened, and I'll try to avoid that in the future.
Yeah.
In any case, how's everything going, Professor?
Oh, it's going all right. Still recovering from this, from this crud that I've had the last few days, but that's all right. It's, it's getting better. Today was all right, except near the end of the day after teaching for a few hours, talking, to students for a while, and I thought I was losing my voice. I was afraid I wasn't going to be here tonight because I was starting to feel that laryngitis, starting to feel my voice going away, and it was like, oh no. But I got a few hours to rest it this evening, and got some hot tea, and it seems to be doing all right. So if I start,
Something very serious happened now, Professor. Do you know
yes,
what happened?
what's that?
I looked at my main YouTube channel and I lost a subscriber.
Oh no, not
It's
that.
so strange. Sometimes you just refresh it and suddenly there's like, I sometimes am kind of suspicious about it. You refresh it and suddenly, from one moment to the next, you're missing like five people. And I wonder to myself if it's not sort of a sweeping operation of sorts, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's
I
just
I
really
don't
odd.
understand. It's crazy. Yeah. What this, uh, the YouTube has become so weird. Like I've been seeing so many people talking about like strange things happening with subscribers and streams getting blocked, channels getting shut down for things, and they're like, I don't even know like what they were shutting me down for. Weird stuff like that. Demonetizing stuff, demonetizing whole channels for stuff, and no excuses. Like they won't tell anybody like what's going on, or they'll give them some lame excuse and no way to go back and fix it. And then there's all sorts of other, just strange stuff too. I saw a lot of people earlier this week complaining about how they're doing ad placement on monetized streams now. And so you like who was it? I guess it was Little Platoon was saying, he's got like, this 3 hour long videos. And he had his ad placements that he sort of set up, breaks that he had placed in there. And he came back to look at the stream like the next day, and there were like 60 more ad breaks added onto his 3 hour video.
Well, I mean, at least in that case, maybe he gets paid for those ad breaks, but I'm sure he didn't ask for so many of them.
Yeah, I have no idea. It was hilarious because you could see like, oh, here's his little flags that he's put where he's placed his little ad breaks. And then like almost the whole stream, like in the view showed had little gray tags, like every, looked like every few frames. Of course, it was a really long video, but it's just like, good grief. Do we really? I mean, this is YouTube. Do we really need to have 20 minutes, 25 minutes of ads every hour? Like it was a broadcast network? I mean, I pay for the premium because I can't stand the ads that they run on YouTube. So
Right. I pay
I've
for the
long
premium too.
since ponied up the money to pay for premium YouTube because the ads are awful. But for those people who can't, I mean, just like the inundation of the ads, it's really bad. I mean, it was one thing that I got real sick of. There were a few Twitch streams that I used to frequent, and yeah, like if you're not paying a paying subscriber to one of those streams, the ads were infuriating. So, oh man, yeah, YouTube is doing some crazy stuff, man. I don't even know what they've got going on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I also not to sound like a bitter sour grapes guy, but sometimes I also wonder a bit what's happening with the way videos are now shown to people. I feel like the algorithm keeps changing in some odd way. Like in the past, if I did a movie, even if it's not a big movie, if it's something that's kind of came out in the past few days, and I do a review, there would be a certain amount of views that I think I would get on it. And now, if I release it, I'm not sure I'm getting those views. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Yeah, it's
Which is kind of a
uh,
shame because, I always liked, in addition to doing stuff that's more kind of in the headlines or whatever you wanna call it, that sometimes there would be maybe a smaller movie that people didn't see. Maybe, like, something that some people saw, but not everybody, and I was just kind of talking about it. And I knew that that would get views, at least some views, and now it's almost like it doesn't reward you for that.
yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
It
Like,
feels like YouTube doesn't want to reward creators at all anymore.
no,
Like, and
it rewards you if, like, you go for the most, like, obvious thing that people may wanna talk about, but if you're like, "Hey, I saw this movie that's not, like, number 1 on the movie charts, it's just, a movie that came out, a smaller movie, something that's interesting, something that I even think people may enjoy or not enjoy, and I like talking about it," and like I said in the past, I know what the minimum views you could get on something like that, and now, like, you may wanna cut that by half. Which is a shame because, at the end, they're discouraging people. It's like, "Okay, I get it. I can only do, like, headline stuff. I can't just go and talk about some movie." But it is what it is. Like the Toxic Avenger one, I'm happy I talked about it here on this stream, but, yeah, I feel like, the video I did, or the video review of it, it was, I don't know, didn't cut kind of the algorithm didn't pick it up much.
mm, yeah. I saw a few other people talking about it, but not many.
Right. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
it was something that I feel like not a lot of people were talking about. When I made the video, I didn't think that this would be like my most viewed video. I knew that this was a video that's not going to get like a gazillion views. But sometimes you think to yourself, well, I kind of like this and it's cool. And you want to do something on your channel that's not just the obvious things. You want to talk about a few things that are a little offbeat. And like I said, I feel like maybe there's less forgiveness towards that, if you get what I'm saying.
Mhm. Yep.
It's not, I mean, other videos that I'm making,
Yeah.
like, they're fine. It's just that one kind of, I'm like, "Oh, I really kind of like that one," but it is what it is. Not gonna complain. I appreciate there's still a lot of good things that I do that people are enjoying, and I enjoy people watching my videos, and I'm not complaining. But yeah, it's not always the easiest platform to navigate around. That's what I'll say.
Yep. And, well, this stream, of course, is a Rumble centric stream. So we absolutely love the people who are following us over on Rumble, over there commenting. And we've got a handful of our usuals hanging out over there already tonight. And it's great to see them.
I like the that Rumble has free speech. I like a lot of things about Rumble. I hope that people subscribe and they sign up for Rumble and then follow us there, because it's good to support a platform like Rumble. Rumble are there aren't many alternatives to YouTube that actually have content creators doing stuff regularly. And yeah, I understand that YouTube is this huge monster, monster of a platform, but that doesn't mean that we can't support other platforms.
Indeed.
Anyhow,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dude Bro Seth is watching the game. I assume that he's watching the Cowboys versus the Eagles, and they had a strange situation where they had some kind of weather problem, and they just stopped the game for a while, but then they continued it, and now I think they're in the fourth quarter. I can't believe that between two streams, I actually know all of this. And I think Javante scored the first touchdown. There was a field goal then somewhere. Somebody spit on somebody there.
Oh
So
my.
really, a lot of interesting things happen in this game.
No, nobody's throwing dildos onto the field, though, I would
Not
assume.
yet, not
Not
no,
yet.
not any dildos yet, but people were somebody was spitting on somebody. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Istophobos, by Streamual. I do YouTube and Rumble. That is true. You do appear
Yeah.
on both of their things.
I hear they have a cream for that. If, if you need to treat it.
They also had a Hawk Tua problem with the game. Yeah, they were
Oh
spitting
gosh.
there. Only a 4-point game with 4 minutes to go. That's good to know. Yeah, at least it seems like it's an interesting game. If nothing else, it's sometimes you have these kind of kickoff and you get a crappy game, but I think in this case they're getting an interesting game. Which before my streams I was actually kind of watching, and I've still been taking interest kind of in the background. Anyhow, what were we talking about today? I was in such a rush today. I admit the thumbnail was just something I put together. If you're thinking to
I
yourself, Price is lazy, this is a lazy thumbnail, then I agree with you. It wasn't my best thumbnail. I
now
just said,
I seem to remember, I don't know, maybe it was just a rumor, but I thought that Gunn or somebody around the production had said that we were gonna get Lex and his power armor. Of course, we didn't. We ended in that film, we ended up getting the pointless, made up Hammer of Baravia character who just ended up being somebody else. But yeah, man, I really wanted to see that Lex armor in the movie. I thought that would have been awesome because we've never seen that in film. Seen it in plenty of animation, seen it in the comics, but yeah, I didn't get to see it this time around. But this Lex doesn't seem like the kind who would actually get into a fight himself. So he outsources that to all of his aides that he gives instructions to, that then relay instructions over to someone else who can then actually do the fighting, which seems like that would be incredibly difficult in an actual fight situation to do that. But okay, whatever. um yeah. uh yeah, we'll get to talk about Superman sequel here in a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, oh man, yeah. And old Trump always got to be trolling people. What
yeah,
specific troll were you looking out for? Did you
I don't
see
know. There was just like
this?
honestly, there was just a bunch of them. There was something every time I look, he's trolling somebody. There was something that he trolled Rosie O'Donnell. That was one thing that he's like, "Hey, I'm going to take her citizenship away.
Oh
She's
yeah.
not a good American." I don't think he can take her citizenship away, and I think he posted a picture which was like photoshopped to make her look even more, even less. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, Professor, but there was some Photoshop picture of her. Did you see it?
Yeah, less well, I mean, she was never appealing. I don't know how you could be less appealing.
That's what I'm saying. That I am kind of.
Less yeah, I can't say less attractive because that's, yeah, then that doesn't really work. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a good.
Okay, this is it. This is what. This is what it is. Let me share it. I mean, obviously, this is some kind of like photoshopping or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
have to
I
share it.
can't see it. Yeah, share it, yeah.
Okay, 1 second. So then he wrote, as previously mentioned, we are giving serious thought to taking away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. She's not a great American and is, in my opinion, incapable of being so. I don't know what. The thing is that at this point, though, nobody even like gets surprised, and nobody. If this was like the first day of his first term in like 2016 or whatever it is, you'd have like people melting down and all these like newspapers. Now it's just another day. It's probably not even the strangest meme he posted on that same day. There's also
Yeah.
something about Putin or something. I don't know what. Russia, Trump. There was something also that he did. that he had.
Yeah, Phantom Monk, said it looks like a skin for a character. Yeah, like it's some flattened out, skin that you would include to, wrap around the face of some polygons on a video game.
There was something I can't find that thing that he tweeted that he's like, "Oh, enjoy conspiring against the U.S." I don't know if you remember that.
Mhm.
There was something that he was. Uh, what's this new one? Did I? Is this from recent? Oh, no, this is already from a few days ago. Where was that thing? Conspire. Let's see if I can find this thing. Here, this was it. So he's like, the big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United. What does he do it in quote unquote? I never know that the
I don't
United.
know.
A lot of times he just does that even though it's not necessary because it's actually not quote unquote. Like I think the blood
Yeah,
was
it's not quote unquote blood. Yeah, there was actual.
it was actual blood. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, but at this point, you just kind of you go with it. You know that the United States gave to China in order to help to secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong un as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. Trump. It's such a random tweet out of nowhere. Uh,
It's
what do you think what do you think happened here?
fascinating.
Why do you think he tweeted this?
Oh my god. Sometimes lately, I don't even know what he's thinking. I mean, obviously, so there was the whole thing, I guess you saw a few days ago. They had a whole big, celebration there in China where they invited in the, uh, Kim Jong Un, and they invited, Putin in, and they did a big military parade and everything in China. Can't remember what the specific, anniversary or whatever it was for. But yeah, they did all of that, and yeah, there were a bunch of talks about oh, this is the new axis of power in the world and whatever, and American power is waning and blah blah blah. All the blue anon stuff that's just become very common now. Oh no, Kivo, got a rumble rant here from Kivo.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Hold on one second. I hope did you check the YouTube one? Because I didn't notice what's going on with the YouTube.
yeah, I've been keeping an eye on YouTube.
Okay. Uh, I'm just happy that we even have a stream on YouTube.
Yeah, that it's even working. Yeah.
For a second, it looked like we were out of the game. Let's go see Kivo's $5 Rumble rant. If Trump died for 2 days, does that mean he was resurrected? If so, can he now run in 2028? That
That
is
was
a
the
good.
plan all along. Yeah, there you go. There's your blue anon conspiracy right there. See, yeah, he died for 2 days, so now he's come back. He can actually run for 2 more terms now. So, yeah.
That would be interesting. But honestly, even if like suddenly they made a rule and they for some reason want him to run again, which I don't think is going to happen, I wouldn't recommend for him to run. I
You know
think that
Oh, no, no, no. Well, you know what it reminds me of though, Price? Right. I assume you've seen Futurama.
I've seen it. I
Okay,
haven't watched every episode of it, but
okay.
I've seen it.
So, in the first, season or so, they did a whole bit with, I guess maybe it was second season actually, where they did a whole bit with, Nixon coming back and running for president. And everyone said, "Oh, you can't run for president again." And it says, "Oh, no, it says nobody can run for president." But of course, in the future, in Futurama, he's just a head, and he's attached to a Bender has sold his body, and he ends up getting Bender's body, and so he says nobody can run for president, but as you can see, I have a whole new body, so now I can I can run for president again. And of course, the really funny joke is he runs for president, and then basically Nixon is president for the whole rest of the every year of the show, even up till the more recent seasons that they've done. He's still president. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Trump will go out. He'll get a whole new body. Get his head put on a different body. and then he'll he'll run for president again.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that even if for some reason they made a rule or whatever it is, I still wouldn't recommend. I think he's getting older. That's what I'm saying. It's fine for this thing, but
Mhm.
I, you know what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Trying to see what else, what other things I saw today. Um, kind of looking back through my feed here on X. Oh, this was what? Yeah, this one is fairly recent, actually. I can share this. We can talk about this for a bit. Oh, is it going to let me share? Maybe.
Let me see for a second.
It's no, it's just like it's acting funny when I'm clicking the share button. Okay, now there we go. Okay. Now it's up. Okay, so uh yeah, I've got it shared. You'll just have to pick it.
You were able to share it now?
Yeah, yeah. Can you not see it?
1 second. I understand what you
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we talked at some length before. We've talked about the all these pardons that were signed right before Biden left office, and this is what a lot of the auto pen controversy has been about, right? There were all of
Yeah.
these things that were signed by auto pen, and there were a lot of questions after this. So, like, he signed like how many clemencies, how many different pardons did he sign? And he signed he excuse me. Like, is like, how legal could that be? Like, could he actually have, signed all of these things? How did he do this? So, they're saying now that there's internal email that's showing that Biden did not review thousands of these pardons and clemencies that were signed by AutoPen, and even the White House lawyers says even White House lawyers were scrambling to find proof he approved them. He doesn't review the warrants, one White House lawyer admitted. So they were looking at these pardons and saying, uh, I'm not sure we actually have everything that we need here to actually make these legal. The lawyers in the White House under Biden. So now this is from the Oversight Committee. Internal emails revealing Biden didn't review thousands of pardons granted in his final days, and even White House lawyers were scrambling. And so, look at this.
Do you think anything's going to happen to these pardons really, or there's just
I don't know. I mean, this is now like this is the most that we've really gotten at this point to show like that perhaps these were not fully reviewed. Like they didn't actually get the process that they were supposed to. It was just like, here's a stack of them, sign them all. And that's not really the way this is supposed to, that's not really the way that it's supposed to work. And of course, he was mentally incapacitated, perhaps might be one way to put it. Um, here's the actual article from New York Post. Sweeping clemencies granted during his final days in office cause concern. Messages indicate the 46th president orally approved commutations for inmates jailed for crack cocaine offenses on January 11th, but his auto pen signed signature wasn't affixed to the three documents listing about 2,500 recipients until the morning of January 17th. The debate over who exactly to include in the mass pardons and how to modify their sentences came to head late on the night of the 16th. And it talks about White House staff secretary, gatekeeper for the auto pen. His name's Steph Feldman. Wrote West Wing lawyers she needed evidence Biden had consented before she authorized a mechanical signature. I'm going to need this email on original chain confirming president signed off on specific documents when they are ready. 6 minutes later, Deputy White House Counsel Taisha Dixon, one of the email recipients, forwarded the message to Posada, Chief of Staff. Michael's thoughts on how to handle this. And then it says authorizing clemency. He doesn't review the warrants. And then just said, okay, I talked to Steph about it. So it sounds to me like, no, this like he didn't actually review these. He didn't actually go through the process.
So how are these legit? I mean, do you think? But
That's
the
the
question
question.
is,
Can they be legit? If he did not actually approve these, if it was just staffers going like, sign them anyway, well, then that's not legal.
it seems not legal, but you know what? Every time we've seen this thing where somebody's like, "We can't believe this happened. This isn't right," and then you know what happens? Nothing. I feel like nothing is going to happen. Whoever
Yeah.
you pardon will be pardoned. Nobody's going to do anything. They're not going to file anything. They're not going to do anything. I don't know why I think that, but I just feel like nobody at the end does anything. It's just all just whatever. People are saying that Obama ran the country behind the scenes. You know, I actually think that given the situation that Biden was in, you know, his mental health, whatever you want to. I don't know what word I'm looking for. It's not exactly mental health, but you know
Mhm.
what I'm trying to say. Given his situation, it's obvious that there were people behind the scenes making that
Oh,
whole thing work.
absolutely. No,
A-
I don't really think I'm not convinced it was Obama. I think it was his wife, Dr. Jill, and staffers in the White House. They were the ones running things. They were the ones determining what the agenda was. They were the ones writing the scripts. They were the ones talking to the journalists. They were the ones doing, the vast majority of what happened all during the 4 years that he was there. And he was just figurehead, and that is scary as hell, to be honest. That there's a bunch of people, just staffers in his area, that were the ones deciding what all of the focus was going to be, and I yeah, I can't even imagine what would have happened if there had been some sort of major attack, disaster, something that had occurred during that time, like how they possibly would have been able to respond to it. He was literally just Joe Potato Head. Like he didn't know where he was most of the time. And when they did get him up, they had to prop him up in front of the cameras. They had to pump him full of drugs and all sorts of stuff to be able to keep him up and alert and around. He was sleeping until noon half the time. He was on the rest of the time he was on the beach eating ice cream.
he was on
Like,
vacation most of the time. Tomahawk,
yeah,
hey, how's it going? Yeah, the thing is that yeah, nobody elected Dr. Jill, so
no,
it's kind of strange. Now, don't get me wrong. Even though maybe Jill was the one sort of doing the day to day whatever she was doing there, I think that Obama still has influence from behind the scenes. I think that it's not that his word and whatever he says behind the scenes within that party, it's still worth something. But yeah, I don't know that it was solely him running the show, but I do think that he probably had some kind of influence. I wouldn't say that he's the only influence, but he may have had some kind of influence.
oh yeah, no, I wouldn't say that he didn't. I'm sure that there were probably a lot of staffers, a lot of the senior people there that were, of course, they were connected to the Obama White House. They had served in the Obama White House, and that's why they were there with Biden. They had come along with him, uh, having already had those connections between from the previous administration. So, yeah, I'm certain there were some connections there.
Caleb
Absolutely.
Levine says, "I think it was a lot of powerful people we probably don't even know about. You give Jill and kids too much credit. You know, I think that maybe it was something that everybody got something out of it. But yes, I wouldn't say that it's impossible that there's some people that we don't even know who they are. And they were kind of just sitting there and kind of like a specter in a room, like in James Bond. and just cooking up weird schemes, and that's then just sending out Joe Biden, who just seemed confused all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I don't know. It's really a disgrace, that whole situation, but nothing we can do now. I think that so many bad things happened because it was clear that there wasn't really anybody at the wheel. I've said this before, that
Mhm.
a lot of people, especially around the world, when they see that there isn't a guy in charge, that's the time that they want to take advantage. Which makes sense.
Absolutely.
Whether you're like evil or good or whatever it is, whatever your goals are, there's a guy that's supposed to be, the leader of, I don't know if to say the free world or whatever it is, and it's some guy that doesn't know what's going on. It's a recipe for disaster. And all the people
Absolutely.
around him, whatever they didn't do a good job. I mean, one might argue that during his later years, maybe Reagan needed some help, but whatever happened around Reagan, even if I'm not going to say I liked every single person around him, somehow I guess they were able to sweep that under the carpet and somehow get through it in a way that wasn't a disaster. Also, to be fair, I think that most of his years he was fine. I do think that maybe his final few years he was not as much on top of his game as before.
No, no, he was not. I honestly, I don't think he was. I don't think he was all there to start with. But yeah, the decline became just too obvious, too difficult to ignore. As you know, the
No,
further and
I was
further he
talking about
got.
Reagan. Biden was
Oh,
like
Reagan, sorry.
no, I'm
Yeah,
saying that
Reagan,
Reagan, I
yeah,
think his
he did have some decline during his last probably
last
18
few
months or
years,
so. Yeah,
he was
he
already
was really
established, and whatever issues they had, he
yeah,
had, they managed to mask them pretty well. And I think that at the
yeah,
time, it wasn't as obvious. Like it wasn't a
mhm.
Biden situation, but I do think in the final year or two of the Reagan years, he probably needed some help.
Yeah, yeah, he was struggling. I think there's pretty solid evidence that yeah, he was struggling with a variety of issues, including memory issues in his last year, maybe 2 years, and yeah, but perhaps he should have been removed from office. I'm being completely honest. Just if you can't actually serve, if you can't actually you don't have the faculties to actually be in that position, you should not be there. You shouldn't be run by the staffers around you, and that goes. I very much like Reagan. You know, the way that the way that he governed, I like just him as kind of a person's personality in a lot of ways, but at the same time, like yeah, no, that was not okay. Like if he really was as disabled as a lot of people later on kind of came out and told us, then no, yeah, I mean he should not have been allowed to serve out that term. But and at the same time, a lot of people around him were looking at it saying, he's not running again. This is the end of his his second term. And let's just sort of see it out. Let's kind of figure out how to get through it. But yeah, uh, yeah, this whole thing with Biden, I don't know when we're gonna see the end of this. I do think there are still people who have stories to tell about what was happening behind the scenes, and they will, if they get the right motivation. Uh,
People are saying somebody said that they thought that HW was the one running things in the late.
it's very possible,
It's
yeah.
very possible. I mean, that guy was a bit slippery, HW. Not gonna lie to you, Professor, but
Well,
somehow
he was,
maybe he was slippery enough to make that thing look like it was working with Reagan. He
mhm.
was no Kamala. You may like him or not like him, but he was no Kamala. Like he was maybe,
Yeah,
he wasn't a dumb guy, although I would say that he may have been a bit slippery.
he was CIA, man.
Where I think that part of the requirements to be in the CIA means that you have to be slippery,
Yeah,
correct?
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
You couldn't do that if you weren't, right?
he was into and knew a lot of shady stuff that was happening both inside and outside of Washington. He did. I mean, he was at the top of the CIA for some time. Uh, he knew all that stuff. He knew all the players. He knew all the dirt. Uh, yeah.
I always think about that rumor, and I'm sure it's false. I want to say that here at Price of Reason, I am not supporting this conspiracy theory. It's probably not true. But there's always this rumor that George H.W., a young George H.W. Bush working for the CIA, was, in Dallas on the day that JFK was deleted. I'm
Uh,
sure that it
yeah.
never happened, and if it did, that it was a pure coincidence. But it's something that I have heard a number of times over the years. I wonder if that's true.
I don't know. I have no idea if he was actually there or not.
You know what's
Yeah.
strange though? I don't know if he was there, but if it turned out that he was, would you be completely shocked?
No. It's the CIA, man.
Right. That's why they're like, "Hey, he was there," and I'm like, "Oh, he was probably there." Like, it's not even a shocker for me. I think he probably was, but I don't have anything beyond like these kind of rumors for years that you just keep hearing over and over again. Again, even if he was there, we don't know what he was doing there. Maybe he
Yeah.
was there to stop any kind of acts against the president, and he wanted to personally handle that.
From what I understand, there is actually, because I've heard this before and I was really curious about it. And I is from what I understand, there's actually photographic evidence of him being elsewhere. I don't remember where it was, but like there's evidence like of taking like photos or memos or something like taken at the time saying like he was not in Dallas when that happened. But that could just be the cover up, right?
I still
Yeah.
wonder about the picture of Oswald. There's that picture of him in the newspaper.
Yeah.
It looks like a strange picture. Did you ever notice that?
Oh, it does look it looks weird, but yeah, at the same time, the cameras, especially cheap cameras that were available at the time, like, they were not known for taking particularly accurate photographs. They would often get really, bright spots and, stuff
Of
would
course.
be
It just
weird and strange.
the shadow kind of looks
Yeah,
strange. It
yeah.
looks like somebody took like papers and scissor and like pasted a face there. I'm not saying that somebody did that. I'm saying that they probably didn't. And here at Price of Reason Studios, I want to emphasize again, I'm not saying that they took scissors and pasted somebody's face on it. That would be
Oh,
insane. That would be insane, Professor, that they'd cut and paste a person's face and put it
yeah,
on that thing.
that would be, just mind-blowing, yeah.
And that
Adam Gray says that
HW would be there in the radius of a few miles. I refuse to believe that, Professor.
yeah. Kayla Levine says HW was photographed there. He made a phone call, filed a report on the situation. Later said he couldn't remember where he was. I was just looking it up, and I mean, this is just what I got from the Perplexity search engine, but it says there's photographic evidence of him in Tyler, Texas. So that's on that day that he was in the area shortly after the assassination because he was in the area, doing his job, like interviewing people and whatever. But that he was not actually in the area at the time. Again, who knows? There's all this stuff. It's so goes so far back. No one's ever going to know the truth about this and what happened. For real. If anyone bought somebody off or whatever, Adam Gray though says that his son, W couldn't run a lemonade stand. That was all Cheney. Give W some credit. I think he would run a really good lemonade stand. Adam, I really do.
That's actually one of the things that I would say that he would do well. I think the W out of that whole family, maybe because he wasn't necessarily like their number one guy, he just seemed like a guy that would drink beer at a bar and maybe you can have a conversation with. That's probably what got him elected to begin with.
Yeah.
Meaning, it was I'm going to say something really, really out there, okay? And of course, I want to emphasize this is just my thoughts. I am likely mistaken about what I'm about to say, and I take no responsibility for what I'm about to say. but it's possible that HW, when the Ronald Reagan years, he started becoming a bit fuzzy. HW started, from behind the scenes doing a lot of stuff. And in HW's mind, he probably thought to himself, this is perfect. I'm doing all my slippery stuff. Ronald Reagan is super likable, even now that he's a bit older and he has some issues. But he'll go out, he'll read this thing that I give him on a piece of paper. Everybody's going to just really like him because he's so likable. And I'll do my slippery stuff behind the scenes. Now, once Reagan was not there and you had HW himself as the president, well, people kind of feel when somebody is slippery. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes people don't know how to put their finger on it, but when they see a guy and he seems slippery, at the end they're like, this guy's kind of slippery. And I feel like that's what happened to him. That's why he only got one term. Because if he had another term where he's doing the stuff from behind the scenes and he had a Reagan type of person being the front man while he's doing his more slippery stuff in the background, that was a good setup. And I think that after he didn't get the second term, that's when he was thinking to himself, what if I can get one of my sons? He probably preferred Jeb, but somehow it's like, I don't know. Maybe he thought to himself, like, the less that W understands and knows, because he seems kind of like, not as sharp as HW, then he's
Yeah.
like, we put this guy here. He can just walk around. I'll bring in Cheney. I'll bring in all my guys. We're gonna do everything. It's Reagan 2.0.
Yeah.
And
Well, oh, yeah.
do
Yeah.
you got I actually think that this was Reagan 2.0. Like the test drive for what that model was like the late years of Reagan, and then version 2.0 was W. They just put him there. They could do whatever they wanted. He'd go out, he'd read. He was okay enough to read whatever that teleprompter said that he needed to say. Aside from that, for the most part, I think that most of his answers didn't seem very. There was something about him that I never felt that he was fully in charge. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
know that sounds strange. It's, maybe people felt it, but I always I could feel when he talked that he wasn't 100% sure that he fully understood everything that was going on. I know how bad that sounds, but that's the vibe I got from him. He could read from the teleprompter though, and he had
He could, yeah, and
he
that's the funny thing, like, we talk about, W and, oh, maybe, yeah, he's the guy maybe you wanna have a beer with, maybe he's not the sharpest tack in the box, but, maybe he's, he's got some personality and something maybe that kinda comes across as at least a little genuine somewhere, and, of course, then he had, Jeb, who was the one that everyone thought was gonna be the great politician to follow in his father's footsteps, who is just a dull, uninteresting, sort of a stick in the mud with no personality, and nobody wanted him for for anything outside of being being governor of Florida. Like when he tried to run for higher office, like everyone was like, just go away. We're
Yeah, I mean, Jeb, he wasn't likable. Yeah, it was a bad combination there because Jeb, he didn't seem especially smart, and he wasn't likable. In the case of W. Bush, I feel like I suspect that maybe out of all those people, he may on a personal level be rather likable. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
think that maybe out of all those people, if we just ran into him now and just talked to him, he's probably the most semi-normal person amongst that crew, if you know what I mean. It's just
Could
that they needed
that could be.
they needed a bag man or whatever you want to call it. They needed a front man, and he was their guy. They
Yep.
just said, "Listen, you're going to be the president. Your father was the president. Everybody knows your father. You kind of remind people of him. They're going to think that this is fine. You'll read from this teleprompter." I'm trying to think how many times George W. Bush had interviews where he really sat and wowed you. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
remember seeing an interview with George W. Bush thinking, man, the W really aced this interview? It's always like he was just sitting there and he seemed like the Big Lebowski of the Bush family.
Mhm. Kayla
That's
Levine
my
asks,
thoughts.
yeah. Sorry.
People
Gail
are
Levine
probably
was
like, "What is this guy talking about?" Sorry.
Gail Levine was saying, wasn't most of W's cabinet guys from his dad's day?
Of course.
Yes. Yes,
They
they
were
were
all his dad's
almost
people.
exclusively. They were guys who had served in his cabinet. They had served in his campaigns. Yeah, it was
Even
almost exclusively
businesses, they even
Trump.
had businesses with him. He
Yes.
had his own crew, and it's like the entire George H.W. crew went, surrounded, like, W, and then George Bush the father would say, like, "Oh, I'm retired. I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I want nothing to do with what my son does. Like, I have nothing to do with his politics or policies. Like, that's in the past for me." Meanwhile, like, all of his people are there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, that cannot be a coincidence. In my opinion, of course. Here at the Night Owl, we're not really sure, and take no responsibility for anything I just said.
Yes. Oh man. We have been so inundated for like God, a decade now with TDS. Do you even remember Bush derangement syndrome?
Yeah, I think they didn't like him. The thing is that at some point they hate Bush is like the Star Wars prequels. They all
Yeah.
hated him, but then when Trump came along, they're like, "Hey, you know what? We
may- Maybe he wasn't so bad.
maybe it wasn't so bad." All these same Democrats that like hated him are like, maybe he's a
Yeah.
swell guy." I
They're
remember that
they're
once I
hanging
think
out and joking with him during during inauguration and presidential funerals and stuff like that. He's hanging out with Obama and they're like
yeah,
hanging
I
out and
mean,
joking together. It's like, yeah, he was always part of the establishment. That was never a question, but it was always ridiculous. Some of the absolute like the just I mean, it's gone way past the hysteria that there was during the time Bush was in office with
yeah,
their
they
Bush
were
derangement syndrome. It's gone way past that now with Trump stuff. It's
right.
gone.
Trump is like a whole because the thing with Trump is he doesn't care about anything, and like he triggers that syndrome every 2 seconds because he has total disregard for any kind of rules or anything, for good and for bad. He's just whoever he is. But the thing with I remember once I think Ellen DeGeneres had a she saw him at a football game like George W. Bush, and they
Mhm.
sat and they talked for a few minutes, and then somebody took a photo, and like she had to like sort of apologize or something because they were angry that she talked to him or something. People are just so weird and stupid.
Yeah.
A lot of times I mean, I don't know how to tell you the truth, I don't even know how it is anymore now, but for many years, there was a situation that a lot of these politicians were very much a part of the same racket, and whether they were on this side or that side, they could all bump into each other somewhere and still have that, like, minimum common ground of like, okay, we're both playing this stupid game. There was at least something. I don't even know if to call it camaraderie, but even if you were on different sides of the spectrum, there was still something. It worked differently. I don't know. I think that these days, oh, you talk to this person. I hate that. I hate that thing that they're like, oh, you talk to this person, you're not a person anymore. Like, I would talk to anybody. If tomorrow I mean, again, this would be a bit tricky because of his condition. But if, like, you know what? I wanna say something that's gonna really surprise you. If Kamala Harris called us and said, "Hey, I wanna be on the Night Owl," I'm bringing her on. I'm bringing her
Mhm.
on the stream. I wanna hear what Kamala Harris has to say on the Night Owl. I totally would bring her on the show, and I we could just ask her questions. I think that, the thought of her talking to us uh, amuses me. But again, we wouldn't do softball questions. We could just ask whatever. Not that it even matters now because she's not running for anything, and it all doesn't even matter. But what I'm saying is, okay, let me
Yeah.
reword that. If you told me that you bumped into Kamala Harris, you had a conversation with her, I wouldn't be like, "How dare you?" You know what I mean? I'd just
Oh
be
no,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Oh my
great,
god.
whatever."
I don't think I would survive the word salad
You
for
wouldn't
her,
get a
like,
straight
uh,
answer her. You know what
no.
though? It would be so amusing. I'd love to have her on here. I wanna, like, ask her questions and see how she, like, tries to, like,
Just
squirm out of answering them. It would be terrific.
all the nervous giggling during the interview. Like, oh my god, I can't even imagine what it would have been like to have her do someone, do someone's show that was actually like really
Do someone. I
critical.
think that's
Oh,
that's something
whoa,
that she
wait, what?
actually
No,
on her resume.
that yes, no,
I
to
don't know what I'm
actually go
talking
on
about.
somebody's show.
To go on
Uh,
somebody's show. That's what I meant.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what did you mean?
No, that's what I was saying. To actually go on someone's show who was actually critical of her and actually had like real questions, like, and not even someone who was necessarily being like an asshole, like being really, really confrontational, just someone who had actual questions to ask instead of just softball like BS, like happened at all of the networks that she visited and all of the interviews that she did. And of course, then they would edit down and get rid of her word salad nonsense answers and you know, but had she actually gone on podcasts like Joe Rogan, right? Like the amount of time that she would have spent either just completely filibustering with a bunch of memorized stuff, just wrote memorized stuff that she just rattle off the top of her head, and then nonstop nervous giggling when she didn't know what to say. Like it would have been awful. It would have been absolutely awful. She would have lost by even more than she than she lost by. It would have been so bad. The only chance she had was the outrageously flattering coverage that she got from every corner of the media, just to cover for her every chance they got, and it still was not enough. I mean, it still showed through just how vapid and completely unprepared she was to actually serve in that role. And then, thankfully, it sounds like she's not gonna run again. She's not interested in running, for governor and probably not interested for running for president again, but we'll see. Do you know who is interested for running for president, Price? Your favorite guy.
Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, did you see this today?
I
We have,
didn't.
a YouGov poll that says that Gavin Newsom is favored to win the 2028 presidential election by 8 points over JD Vance.
The thing is that first of all, I'm suspicious of this poll,
That's
but
ridiculous. It's an
but at the
absurd.
same time, beyond me being suspicious of this poll, Gavin Newsom being president, if thinking about that worries me. And the thing is, it's not in like the kind of Trump TDS type of way. See, the thing with him is they're like the ones that didn't like him or wanted him not to run or all this stuff were like, oh, he's the mustache man. Oh, he's the mustache man. See, it's not like some weird like Gavin derangement syndrome. It's a very kind of calm and composed syndrome where the reason why it would worry me if he was the president is that he's just not good at running anything. Like, the results that he's produced to date are awful, and he's not good at it, and that's why I would get worried. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not like I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care, like, if he sat around and said something stupid, which he's done plenty of times. Like, if he did acted in a dumb way or said something stupid or said something that, like, I thought was, like, bad or none of that matters to me. The only thing that matters to me is that this is a guy that I wouldn't wanna give him a job doing anything. You were talking about a lemonade stand, and if I could choose George W. Bush or this guy, I'm going George W. Bush. I'll let George W. Bush, maybe it's not going to be the most efficiently run stand, but I could see him just standing there smiling and talking to people like the Big Lebowski, and maybe just out of for some reason they'll buy some lemonade from him. I don't know. They'll feel bad and buy some lemonade from him. Gavin Newsom, like I don't trust him.
No, no, and nor should you. Nor should anyone. I do not understand this sort of cult of personality that he has behind him. He is the slimiest, most untrustworthy dude. Like he has destroyed that state. It is in an it is in an absolute free fall right now. And how these people just continually back him up even after all of this insanity. And yes, some people are pointing out YouGov is skewed. Yes, of course it is. Yeah, YouGov is horribly skewed. It's deeply skewed to the left. the people who actually go there and post and take polls and stuff. There's some pretty funny comments on here though. It's like this is why nobody listens to these BS Democrat polls. Here's Polymarket, which by the way, I don't know if you heard there. It looks like they're going to be up and running in the U.S. again pretty soon as a legit market. That'll be interesting. Um,
So they
oh,
have JD Vance.
and right now, of course, Polymarket predicted a whole lot of predicted a whole lot of stuff recently, sort of the wisdom of the crowds kind of thing. And yeah, right now saying, right now the winner of the election likely JD Vance. Of course, there's so much that can happen between now and then, right? There's
Of
so
course, of
many
course.
things that could happen. To even talk about like, oh, who do you predict is going to win this, that, whatever between now and then, is kind of ridiculous. Uh, we don't
I'll
even know if New Scum is going to be the nominee, right?
We don't know. But the only concern, I think he will be. I think that because at the end, if it's between like I don't know him, Ocasio-Cortez, and like Crockett or something, probably he's going to be the one that's going to end up being the candidate. I just who
I
knows?
think Crockett will no long by 2028, no one will even remember who she is.
You never know. But when
She's going to lose her seat in Texas, and then no one's going to give even a thought to her anymore.
the thing with JD Vance, the only thing I'll say is he is the opposite of what like all those other candidates are in terms of he's smart, but I wonder if he's not too smart for his own good. That's the only thing I kind of think about JD Vance, that he is smart and maybe too smart.
He's sharp. I will tell you this: if there were a debate between these two, if there were a debate between these guys, JD Vance would bury Newsom.
I think you're right.
He would destroy him. It would not even be funny. It would just be like by the time it was over, everyone would just be shaking their heads. It would be pathetic how much JD Vance would just crush Newsom. I mean, he's not that kind. He's not a debater. He's not somebody who can go up and like give a full throated defense of his positions. He can't do it. That's not who he is. And so the best he could do is some little tricks here and there, try and corner JD Vance. But I think you've seen reporters try to do that. We've watched reporters try to do it. We've watched during debates, people try to corner him, and he just dances around them and is like, yeah, well, you can try and say that, but that's not what I was saying. I was saying, this is what I was saying. And then he'll turn around and he'll restate it in a completely different way, totally, on point with what he's trying to talk about. And I've just number of times I've seen him just destroy some leftist reporter who's been trying to, put words in his mouth or try to, frame positions for him in a way that sort of locks him into a certain thing. And he's like, just basically gloves off, like, nah, it's not happening. So, I think he would just obliterate Newsom in a debate. It would be hilarious. There's some other things here I love. They're talking about, oh yeah, Newsom's going to win 49-41. Yeah, also don't forget Kamala was going to win. Red Wave 2022. Hillary will be the next president. All of these things. Yep, they told us all those were going to be true. And yeah, didn't happen.
I'm looking at a tweet
Yeah.
from Vance and I don't quite understand it.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Is he saying Trump is dead, miss him? Something like that?
Let me see for a second.
If you play the video backwards, does it?
Let me see if I can find this. I was trying because it had a Star Wars reference, so I wanted to
Oh,
understand what he was saying. Okay, are you ready?
All right. I think I see the one you're talking about.
I don't quite get it. He said, "This evening, my boys played with their lightsaber toys. Looks like a scene out of Star Wars, but no, just another day of Trump's militarization of DC." Somebody shared this. A DC resident shared this photo she took at Union Station yesterday. Looks like a scene from The Handmaid's Tale, but no, just another day of Trump's militarization of DC right now under his eye. Why are these ladies dressed like the Handmaid's Tale?
Well, because The Handmaid's Tale is their absolute favorite work of fiction. There's nothing that they love more than this absolute not just feminist propaganda nightmare that, oh, everything, we're gonna be conquered by a theocracy, and then they're gonna turn us into slaves. They're gonna take away all our rights as women. I mean, it's all just so ridiculous. I get so tired of this uh feminist nonsense. I actually went and read a little bit of one of these books, just curious about it. And my God, what absolute tripe. It's ridiculously bad. But they just eat it up. Oh, look, see, this is what the world is gonna become. It's like their version, it's like the feminist 1984. Oh, it's the warning that we've tried to tell you. Look what's gonna happen. Uh, they're gonna take all our rights away and turn us into slaves and just use us as mules for pregnancies and stuff. And it's like you
I
say that,
wonder,
and
is
yeah.
there more people that have come out and said that they're enjoying the DC, you know are
I,
they gonna leave those people there? I mean, how long wasn't it supposed to be for 30 days, or what's gonna happen now?
I don't know. I mean, technically, I think he can
Extend that.
extend it, but I don't know what the I don't I they haven't really come out and really discussed, I think, what the ongoing plans are with that. I think a lot of the news over the last day is really focused on what's been happening in Congress with RFK and everything there. Kind of, everyone kind of grilling him over the changes he's made at the CDC and the health department and stuff. Oh gosh, did you see there was one other thing that happened earlier today. Um, there was a rumor that Trump is planning to put out uh, a new executive order that it is going to change the name of the Department of Defense. Did you see any of this?
Uh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, let me see if I can share this real quick. Fox News article, just the first one that popped up here. Oh shit, there we go. So Trump plans to rename Pentagon, restoring historic Department of War in latest military move. Okay. Oh, that video is not related to it. Never mind. I hate when they do that. They put those videos in there. It's not actually related to the story that you're reading.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Trump to sign an executive order on Friday to alter the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War, reverting to the agency's former namesake. Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth recently indicated they wanted to change the name of the agency. It's one of several initiatives Trump's administration has spearheaded as part of its Warrior Ethos campaign within the Pentagon. A White House official confirmed Fox News Digital Thursday that Trump would roll out the name change on Friday. Executive order calling for the Department of War as a second title for the Department of Defense. So it wouldn't necessarily erase the Department of Defense. It would be like a different title for use in certain situations. I don't know. We'll have to see exactly what happens. I get why some people, this was, I don't actually remember when this, let's see if they say something in here when it was Uh, the order instructs Hegseth to propose legislative and executive actions to make the name permanent. Yeah, I think it would have to go legislatively in order to change it. Uh, Implementing the order would require modifications to public-facing websites and office signage, including renaming the public affairs briefing room to the Pentagon War Annex. Trump signaled in recent days the change was imminent. Everybody likes that we had an unbelievable history of victory when it was the Department of War. Then we changed it to the Department of Defense. Hegseth, who Trump already has referred to on occasion as the Secretary of War, also expressed similar sentiments and said the change would reflect a broader cultural shift in the Pentagon. Um, okay, we won World War One, we won World War Two, not with the Department of Defense, but with a War Department, with a Department of War. As the president said, we're not just defense, we're offense. This is one of those things. What do you think of this, Price?
About changing the name, I don't really care. It's one of those weird things that I feel like, listen, Trump, sometimes he does things that are good. Sometimes he likes things that I don't really know what he wants. I mean, if it makes such a big difference for him, he can call it whatever he wants. It doesn't seem necessary to me, but what do I know?
This just seems it just seems weird to me. Um,
The thing is that because it's Trump at this point, I already know that like some weird things happen, and
yeah,
out of all the weird things that could happen, this one isn't really a big deal. It's strange, and I don't know how anybody benefits from it, but whatever. If he wants to rename it, then he can rename it. I think that like he likes it because he thinks it also sends probably a message internationally, like, look, no, we're not the defense, we're the thing of war. I don't know what he thinks. It's psychological. I don't even know what he thinks. Sometimes you have to wonder what he thinks, and I don't really know 100%.
yeah. As it says here, U.S. Employed the Department of War title for its military agency until 49, when it was renamed the Department of Defense in accordance with a series of reforms included with the National Security Act of 47. So it's been the Department of Defense for quite some time. I guess, so here's my thing. I totally get why he's like, oh, we're gonna make it a warrior ethos. We're back to, we're gonna be fighting for things. We're gonna be on the offense for this, whatever. Okay, but are you really pro war? Is that is that what you're trying to say? Because that's what it actually kind of sounds like when you're saying we're going to replace Department of Defense with Department of War. When you look at the Constitution, and we look at other documents, it talks about providing for the common defense, not providing for the common war, right? So I think Department of Defense actually fits better when you're trying to say that the goal in the
Oh
end
no,
is
there
to
was
have peace. There was a super chat just a few moments ago, yeah.
oh, okay. It hasn't
Yeah,
been there for a long time.
and no, just a few minutes.
Okay,
Yeah, so
go on. Sorry.
yeah, but yeah, so to me, would if the goal is peace, then I don't understand why you need to call it the Department of
I'll
War.
tell you why. I
I
think
just it I yeah, I don't know.
he thinks that it sounds badass. He thinks that later, like,
You're totally right.
he thinks that Putin and Kim Jong
Yeah,
Un are gonna read this and
they
be like, "Wow."
they have the Department of War, so we should have a Department of War. They've got a
Right, like,
Secretary of War, so we should
Trump
have
means business. He wants
Secretary of
war. Like,
War.
that's the message he's trying to send.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess. I think it's kind of strange, but,
uh,
yeah,
yeah,
like I said, at this point, he says the craziest things all day and all night,
yeah,
it's
and
hard to,
and
like, focus on one thing.
I do support Mark D with a C. Hey there, it's good to see you in the chat. He says and I totally agree with this one. This is exactly right. He says we need to change the name of Space Force to Starfleet. All for it. Let's go.
So,
Just make sure you got Shatner there when you announce the name change, because Shatner is Star Trek. Screw Paramount and them hiding him, from all their promotions and stuff. Shatner is Kirk, baby. Yeah. What do we got on the super chat here?
Jeremiah Hembry says on Pro Today revealed the reason Cracker Barrel went woke was because they hired the people from Bud Light. You know, I didn't watch Pro Today, so I can't speak of that one way or another. Alyssa Heinerschein or whatever her name was, that's not the same lady as the one from Cracker Barrel, although they have a lot in common, those two ladies, but they're not the same woman they they seem like they could be the same woman, but they're not the same woman. Now, somehow behind the scenes are the same people responsible for her that are responsible for that other one. Anything is possible, but I don't necessarily think, like, let's put it this way. If I'm Cracker Barrel and somebody walks in and they're like, "Hey, I want to work for you guys," like, and you say, "What's your resume?" and you're like, "I did the campaign with Dylan Mulvaney for Bud Light." I don't think anybody's going to hire that person. Unless it's like some sneaky thing that like some guy like Dr. Evil is sitting somewhere with like his cat somewhere and in some underground lair, and he like manages to send these people out unbeknownst to the companies that hire them. Generally speaking, I can't imagine a situation that somebody in their right mind would want to hire the same person. But hey, stranger things have happened. Who knows? In any case, Jeremiah, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you and appreciate seeing you here. In any case, they're like-minded people. I'll give you that. That lady, I can't even remember what's her name.
Yeah.
What's the Cracker Barrel name,
Yeah,
lady?
we had a Rumble rant too, by the way.
Oh,
If
okay,
you
okay.
didn't
I'll
if you
get to
didn't
that.
see that one.
Just tell me
Yeah.
what the name was of the Cracker Barrel. The one that's
Oh,
like
the
Alyssa Heinerschein, but what was the Cracker Barrel one?
the CEO?
Yes.
Oh, that was,
How could I already forget her name? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
she's
Julie Fels Messino. Yeah,
yes, okay,
Messino.
yes, that weirdo. Okay,
The glasses. Yeah.
they do look similar. But thank you, Jeremiah. Let me see what's going
Yeah.
on with the Rumble rant. Where did I miss the Rumble rant? Okay, let's do this. I think that there are a few Rumble rants, and I hope I saw them all. I saw this one from Mr. Phobos. I'm by Streamule. I do YouTube and Rumble. That's good to know. You're like the peacemaker of streams. Kivo 1961. If Trump died for 2 days, does that mean he was resurrected? Now he can run 2028. We went through that one. Then we have Istapovos for $1. Can you believe an actual senator made a xenomorph reference on the floor of Congress? Link in your DMs. Okay.
Yeah, did you see that today?
I didn't see it.
I actually had this. I had a video of it up here earlier on X, and I think I forgot to
I think that now that I look at it, I see that he sent me two things. I guess he wanted us to look at. One, we got to be careful in some of the language here, but let's see what it says. Are you ready?
yeah. Oh, you got another one? Shit, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that Istaphobos sent me. It says two
Well,
Turkish migrants were arrested by Italian police in Viterbo, Italy, before they could open 40,000 Christians with a machine. Before they could delete 40,000 people with a water
Yes.
gun.
Yes.
In any case, I understand. I don't know anything about this story. Have you heard anything about it? I don't know anything about
I
it.
had just I had seen essentially the same thing. Just yeah, that there was an arrest made. Yeah, they were they the I had only seen the one early, but yeah, I guess two. Yeah, arrested with a repeating a heavy water gun thing. Yeah. Or I guess it was actually I think it was actually a SMG. Not a
I
heavy
understand.
machine gun, but still an automatic weapon that could potentially have done a lot of damage.
I understand.
And
I mean,
yeah.
listen, this thing is becoming more and more of a conversation, and rather than going and like pointing at certain people and saying this and that, I think in general, people that come from one place to another place to sort of like, they want to be a part of this new place they came to, they can't just come in there like if they hate. There has to be some kind of mechanism in place to at least establish these guys hate that place. And if it turns out that they hate that place and they don't like the culture and they hate everybody, then that should be a red flag to somebody, I guess. I know it's more complicated than what I just said. Maybe I don't know how you monitor it exactly, but I don't know. You know what I learned this week, that in Poland these days, if you want to become a citizen, even if like you marry a citizen of Poland or something like that, it still won't get you citizenship. You have to make sure you show that you live there. You get tested on the language. Like, you get all these kind of tests, and at the end they tell you if they allow you to be Polish. I mean, with that being said, they also somebody dumped a bunch of, like, immigrants on them in recent times, and I think that they're trying to do something about it. But it's interesting that some of these countries have very strict policies, and I don't know. I don't know if America should have that kind of strict policies, but it would help to know that people that are coming here actually want to be here and like America. I don't know. I mean, it kind of annoys me when I see people that come here and they don't like it. Especially the worst parts, and we've talked about it many times, is the ones that always seem to dislike it the most are the ones that came from like the worst countries with the worst conditions, that they would never want to go back to where they came from in a million years. But here they can sit here and say how much they hate it. And I don't know. It's the ultimate hypocrisy.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
But that was that is to Phobos, so I shared that. Now let me see this other thing.
All right. So I have this. I don't know which thing he shared. This is the actual.
I think that's what he.
This is the actual one from John Kennedy himself.
Oh yeah, okay. This is what he wanted me to share.
So,
yes.
yeah.
This is a.
Okay, just so everyone in the audience knows, if you've not seen this, this is 100% real. This is not CGI'd. This was not AI. He had this picture with him in the Senate while he presented this. It's great.
Photograph of the alien from the movie Alien. This is what you could end up looking like if you eat some of the raw frozen shrimp being sent to the United States by other countries. Now, let me tell you what I'm talking about. In late August, the FDA found that raw frozen shrimp from Indonesia was being sold in Walmart, specifically in Walmart stores in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, and West Virginia. It was being sold under the Walmart label called the Great Value label. If you eat it, how could you end up looking like the alien in the Alien? Because the shrimp was radioactive. I kid you not.
It goes on for a while, but this is legit. This happened. I don't know if anyone else heard, but yes, there was. They found radioactive shrimp. It appeared that likely the shrimp had been packaged with some material. What happens is that there's a lot of metals that get recycled in the third world, and they're not particularly picky about what they throw into the vat when they recycle some of this stuff. And what happens is that you get radioactive materials. For instance, cobalt. Of course, not all cobalt is radioactive. There are radioactive isotopes of cobalt, cobalt 60 and 59 being the most common. Cobalt 60 is one that you would see a lot. It's used in nuclear facilities. But then this just gets thrown into the vat, gets recycled into metals. There's actually been cases of this happening with the actual medals ending up in the U.S. being sold in the U.S. There was actually a thing with actually we own some of these. They're not the radioactive ones, but there's a company that makes polished steel pet bowls, and they had a recall of a whole bunch of these pet bowls because the metal that was used, it turned out it was radioactive. It had a bunch of this cobalt 60 that had gotten in and got into the recycled metal. And so what they think had happened potentially with this is that it had been contaminated by some other some other source, probably some metal that was improperly recycled and whatever. But so they had all this shrimp that they detected these containers were radioactive. And so they had to recall a whole bunch of this shrimp, this radioactive shrimp from all these Walmarts. And it's so crazy. I'm gonna say I'll be honest. I'm a bit of a fan of John Kennedy. I actually really like him. I think he's
He's
one of the
amusing, yeah.
he's one of the funniest guys in Congress.
He
He's so matter of fact. He'll sit there. He will ask people the most outlandish questions, and he's 100% like legitimately like what the hell's going on with this? And for him to bring us, big giant blown up picture of the chest burster from Alien. Just
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, he's
unbelievable.
very amusing, I'll give him that. So, he's very kind of animated and amusing. I don't have an issue with him in general.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
By the way, Professor, I have some good news. Remember the subscriber that I told you that disappeared?
Oh yeah?
He's back.
They came back. I thought they were gonna boost your numbers by dropping out and then coming back again.
I
Yeah.
don't know. In any case, but that's weird. I've had such strange things happen. Sometimes it could just be that somebody unsubscribe and subscribe, but a lot of times I feel like it's something else. It's just I don't really know the inner workings of how the platform works, but sometimes it's very strange stuff. But in this case, I started the stream. There was like less a person, then suddenly I refreshed and there was a person. I guess it could be that somebody unsubscribed and somebody else subscribed. It could be, but the way that sometimes I see this over and over again, I have to wonder if there isn't something else going on. But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and it appears I was wrong. It looks like the Great Value brand shrimp was actually contaminated with cesium-137. So a different radioactive isotope. It was not the cobalt 60 thing. So it was cesium. As to exactly where it came from, they don't know at this point. But yeah, it was a whole
You
bunch of
know,
shrimp that came in from the Bahari Makmur Sejati Foods or BMS Foods in Indonesia. So yeah,
I have a confession.
yeah.
In my youth, years ago, I once went to Walmart and they had this big round dish that had like a bunch of shrimps in a circle, kind of,
Hmm.
and some sauce in the middle, like a thing where you dip
Oh
it and it's
yeah,
like
oh yeah.
cocktail
The little shrimp cocktail things. Yeah.
shrimp cocktail thing. I bought that and it was a big one. I bought that shrimp cocktail. I took it home and I sat
Hmm.
and I ate it. I
Price,
I'm
price.
yes.
I have done the same thing. Not from Walmart, from Kroger, but still, yeah, I've it's been a long day and I got to pick up some groceries at the end of the day and I haven't eaten and I'm like, there's a shrimp cocktail thing right there and you know what? I'm just going to pick that up and I'm just going to go eat it.
I suspect it wasn't the best shrimp. That's the part that
No,
I
no, it never
wonder.
is. It's never the best
It's
quality
never the
shrimp.
best shrimp. It wasn't exactly like we went to like a 2-star Michelin restaurant and had the chef prepare a shrimp cocktail
Yep.
for us. This is like the most low-end shrimp cocktail a man could eat, and
Oh,
yet I
I
still
can
ate it.
I can go lower price. About a month ago, my wife had to help host a retirement party for someone in one of her colleagues, and because she was kind of in charge of sort of this particular event, she had this, she stuck around till the end, and they had a whole bunch of food left over, and she kind of like pawned food off on just about everybody. They had little slider sandwiches and a bunch of other stuff. But the one thing she couldn't get anyone to take was an enormous tray of cocktail shrimp. And so she brought it home and was like, "What do I do with this?" I was like, well, I wouldn't go put it in your office fridge for a few days. That would be bad. I mean, I guess I'll eat some of it. It's funny. I'm the only one in the house that would even eat it. And so, like, I sat down. I ate like an absolute crap ton of this stuff because it was like, I mean, literally, I'm telling you, there were probably 8 pounds of shrimp, like, just still in this container. So I just sort of sat down and just ate a whole bunch of it, and then I ended up taking what was left. And my wife was like, "What do you do with it?" I'm like, "Well, I can freeze it. It's basically that cocktail shrimp is steamed, right? It's not actually really raw. So, but I just took a whole bunch of it and threw it into the freezer, kind of laid it out and froze it all, and I kept it. And I've been I've been slowly eating my way through it for weeks now, just thawing a little bit and frying it up, or throwing it in with some pasta, making some dish or something.
Hey, whatever
But yeah,
works for me, man.
I sat down and ate a whole bunch of that when she brought it home.
I understand. I do strange things too sometimes. Adam Gray says we had shrimp and fake crab tonight.
Oh,
And
shrimp and fake crab.
Mark D with the C, nice to see you here as well. Sounds like a lot of us won't need lights tonight thanks to all the shrimp we're eating.
Glow in the dark. Yep.
You know that I was when I was in Thailand, what surprised me is that they never, I don't know, maybe today it's changed. They don't like clean the shrimp or anything. Like they brought me shrimp and it still had like its eyes and like antennas and stuff. I don't really like that. If you want to know the truth, I prefer that it doesn't have the eyes and the antennas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm an old-fashioned guy. I don't feel like dealing with that. I understand.
Yeah,
that
it's a lot to like the peel and eat part. You're gonna like actually like take it apart and like
right. I don't want to deal with that. I prefer that somebody else do that. I just want the shrimp itself. That's it. It's just like even like crab.
Yeah.
Stone crab, is that what it's called?
There's a few different kinds. King crab. Yeah, there's a few different kinds. Yeah. My favorite was one time actually when we were visiting some friends in Florida, and we got to go to a blue crab festival. With the blue crabs, they actually have they've just shed their shells, so they're a soft shell crab, and so you don't have to take the shells off. They basically just fry them in like whole, and it was absolutely delicious. It was different, but it was really good.
I see. I'm trying to think for a second. So yeah, I don't know why I just remembered this. This is the only this is the stuff that we can talk about in the middle of the night on this show.
Yeah, what the hell?
Once I was in Vegas and I met a friend there, and he kind of, he lived there, and he's like, bro, you got to come with me to eat this. I think it was called like Joe's Stone Crab or something like that. It was a restaurant.
Yeah.
And he's talking about it so much, and I really wasn't a big crab guy. I wasn't even so excited. And he's like, bro, this is like this is the best stone crab or whatever it is. And I went there and I ate with him. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was pretty darn good. Whatever they had there, that was good. It changed my sentiments towards the whole thing. Like I guess it's a matter of quality. I don't really know how to explain it.
Oh yeah, it's all about the quality. It's about how fresh it is. It's about how it's
and the quality
prepared.
and all that stuff. And yeah, it's like it's something that I wasn't even thinking of, but I had to admit that it was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's all about how fresh it is and how it's prepared, and if it's been frozen or not. We occasionally, it's been a while, but occasionally we'll get somebody will drive up from the Gulf like straight in from the Gulf, and they'll bring up a bunch of uh, various different things. They'll bring up shrimp and various things, and you'll bring up crab and stuff, and you can boil it up fresh. It's so much better than the stuff that you would get when you just buy it in the grocery store when it's been frozen for a while.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Everything it's a matter of quality, and certainly there's a difference between all the different things. But yeah, so
yeah,
I
the
guess
about the only thing that I'll still that I am fine like eating it with the shell on it and everything still is crawfish. You ever had crawfish, Bryce?
I think maybe I have, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Anytime you
I
say
mean,
crawfish, I think of Tropic Thunder.
yeah.
A
Yeah,
crawfish.
the crawfish. Yeah, no, crawfish. I mean, yeah, you always get those are never like well, I mean, I guess I don't say never. I've had crawfish etouffee and stuff where everything's already sort of picked out of it. The meat's already picked out. But yeah, that's one of those things. Just do the big old crawfish boil, and yeah, and then everyone just bellies up to the table and just sort of digs through it and eats the crawfish. It's been a while since I've done that, but yeah, that's another thing. It's again, I'm the only one in my family who eats seafood, so it
It's
sucks.
very
I just
strange that nobody else
almost
eats it.
never get to eat those things. One of these days, I'm sure my daughter is getting a little more interested in trying different foods. One of these days, I'm gonna get her to start eating seafood with me. I'm gonna get there. Don't think it's gonna happen with my son. He's one of the pickiest eaters I've ever known. But man, yeah. Uh,
What was I gonna say? What was on the thumbnail? We said
Trump trolling everybody with all of his various
oh, and there was
things.
James Gunn doing weird stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh well, James Gunn
So
gonna James Gunn, right? Oh.
yeah, they announced the the thing.
Oh yeah, he announced his new Man of Tomorrow. Yeah, there's July 9th, 2027. Hey Price, I thought that he was only going to greenlight movies that had finished scripts that he had approved.
Yeah, I mean, I've given my opinion about this, and I made a video on my other channel. Uh, Relatively speaking, I thought that there were less people having meltdowns than usual. But what I said is that I think that a lot of people are sort of not noticing the main thing that's happening here. James Gunn, when he became the head of DCU or co-head or whatever you want to call it, he did that big announcement, and in it he said a few things. One, he had this Superman thing which was very important to him, and another thing that he was really emphasizing was that he had his own DCU Batman, and his DCU Batman would be launched in The Brave and the Bold. Now, at the same time, he said, Matt Reeves and his Batman, well, that's Elseworlds. And the way he described it, how his projects are the top thing, he really thought that like Matt Reeves' days, are numbered. Maybe you'll never even see that second Batman movie, and then he's really going to be phased out, and they're going to have Gunn and let him do his like Brave and the Bold or whatever he wanted. But I think it's pretty clear that after this whole Superman thing didn't work out well, they've been stringing Matt Reeves along. They said he had a personal issue. He does, he doesn't, who knows? But they've been stringing that whole thing along for a few years. Suddenly, the second that like Superman doesn't really deliver the tremendous results they wanted, doesn't beat Zack Snyder, doesn't beat Matt Reeves himself, they're like, Matt Reeves is doing another Batman. He's filming it. Everything is great. Like, we're already working. We have a screenplay. The screenplay is here. I've read the screenplay. Like, suddenly, up until Superman coming out, everything seemed very vague. You heard that there was a movie, but it kept getting delayed, and you kind of thought to yourself that if tomorrow you heard that movie disappeared, you wouldn't be shocked. But once Superman came out, they were firm on Matt Reeves doing that second Batman. And suddenly you no longer hear James Gunn talking about the brave and the bold. Now, I think that Supergirl, Lanterns, and Clayface, there was nothing that anybody could have done because those are already, I think, filming right now. So they're not going to pull the plug on stuff that's being filmed. The question is, how much more would they give Gunn to work with? And I feel like what happened is that his movie, I still will claim that it's not a box office success. Technically, I think it's still a flop. I said in my videos it's a minor flop, and they also were having. Did you see that they were struggling on streaming? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
They basically they said that they were going to stream it, and James Gunn said it's only going to be streamed at the end of the month. But then they're like, nope, we're streaming it tomorrow. And then he's like, oh, well, it's good they're streaming it because it works with Peacemaker. Doesn't even make any sense what he said. You could easily watch Peacemaker and not Superman, and Superman not Peacemaker. You're not even really thinking of the connection between them when you're watching it, honestly. So in any case, he came out with this whole bullshit story, sorry, Sean, about Peacemaker, which I don't know if anybody even believed it. And then the next thing you know, initially on streaming, it didn't do well. It didn't do well on streaming Superman. So they lowered the price after a week, and it still wasn't doing well. So they lowered it again. And man, in 2 weeks to roll out a digital streaming, and within 2 weeks, like 14 days, to have two significant price drops, I don't think that's a good look. I think that's what happens when you're frantically trying to cover your costs. When you're saying, listen, this thing didn't even cover its expenses. Maybe if we lower enough the money, maybe it'll do better. Maybe some people will buy it. It seems like a frantic and desperate move for me. Now, I will at least give Warner Brothers credit that after two significant price drops, it did start appearing on the streaming charts of different places like Apple or whatever it was, Amazon. It did start appearing once they like sliced the price into half or something, after two drops. But I don't know. I guess maybe with that and the ancillary things and whatever box office they made, they said it's worth it for us to maybe give him another chance. But I don't think this was an enthusiastic green light. It was also a situation of he has these other movies like Supergirl, and he has these other things. At least if he says he has this Superman movie as part of his quote unquote Superman saga pivot, well, at least there's something to look forward to, instead of like these movies being lame ducks like, let's say, Aquaman was and The Flash and all that stuff. In this case, they make it seem like there's something still happening on the horizon. I mean, this Superman movie could still get delayed or canceled, you know what I mean? But I don't think it will. But I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I think there's a lot of saving face here, a lot of compromises. And when all the dust clears here, James Gunn, who was supposed to have Superman and Batman, now only has Superman.
That's it. That's all he's got.
But I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, if you have another take, I'm happy to hear it. It's not like we sit in Warner Brothers meetings and they share all these thoughts with us. But I do think that based on what they did with streaming and all the squirming with Peacemaker and James Gunn and this announcement and that he's on the Superman saga and he's not doing Batman, just so you know, here's the interesting part. Initially, Matt Reeves had this thing called Clayface. It was a Matt Reeves project. Matt Reeves started working on it, and James Gunn arrived, and part of his kind of swinging dick when he arrived, sorry, Sean, is that he said, no, Matt Reeves can't do Clayface. I'm going to do Clayface. So he took away the project from Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves still gets some kind of production credit as some kind of contractual obligation or courtesy or whatever, or both, but James Gunn took over the project. And when he was asked about it, and it's not even much of a paraphrasing, he said something like that Matt Reeves needs to stay in his lane creatively, meaning this Clayface thing, this is not in Matt Reeves' lane, which seems kind of petty for me. You know what I mean? Like he comes in and takes the project away from him. I think that if today, after the results of Superman, he came and said, hey, I'm taking away Clayface from Matt Reeves, I don't know if they approve it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
I think that at the time,
I feel like I feel like there's a little bit of like just sort of, dragging him for a while to see like if he'll just leave or give up. Like they don't actually want to make the second.
no,
Batman.
I don't think they do. I mean, I don't assume that he would have announced it if somebody hadn't approved that he would do it. But I don't think that this is I've said it from day one. I don't think that with the numbers that Superman made, I don't think that they were having parties at Warner Brothers. I don't think like David Zaslav was like standing on his desk with a bunch of like, cheerleaders in bikinis dancing around and him like popping a champagne bottle and everybody's like cheering. I don't think that happened in his office. You know what I mean? I think that he sat there kind of grumpy and people were just telling him, listen, It made more money than what Disney did. You did better than Disney, and that kind of helped swallow this bitter pill. But aside
Yep.
from that, he wanted to see 800 to $1 billion. Nothing you tell me will change my mind that David Zaslav did not intend for this thing to make $600 million. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah, no, he wanted to make well more than that.
I'm sure he wanted
Guaranteed.
to make $1 billion, but he said to himself in his own head, he said 800 million to $1 billion. That's what he said
Yeah.
to himself. In his mind, this is what this movie needed to make. If it would have been 750 to 800, maybe he would have been kind of grumpy about it, but begrudgingly admitted that it's somehow not the end of the world for him, even though even that probably is some kind of loss of money. But 600 million is not what he had hoped for. And yeah, maybe they got some money from the streaming and from toys and from sponsorships or whatever. But I said it in my video. At the end of the day, they brought James Gunn in for a few reasons. They said he was going to bring in a new tone for DC versus Snyder, who was too serious. He's going to bring like this whole new tone and atmosphere and vision. And the other thing is, they said he's going to make more money than Snyder did. Now, I understand. I myself, I don't consider myself a Snyder fan. I've said before, there are certain things that he's done that I didn't dislike. There are certain things that he's done that I did dislike. It's a very mixed bag when it comes to like his output, but it doesn't matter what I feel. I'm just talking on a business level. Snyder performed better than Gunn. There's no way about it. It doesn't matter. Even if you hate Snyder, he performed better than Gunn. Gunn came in guns blazing. He fired everybody. He did everything. He did all this stupid stuff. And at the end, I don't think that he justified all the hype surrounding him. Not until now he hasn't done. I don't know if he will in the future. Judging by Superman and Peacemaker, I don't think that James Gunn has justified his all the hype and the
Yeah.
kind of money even that they paid to bring him there.
Oh, don't forget Creature Commandos. What a huge hit that was. Everyone was talking about that one around the water cooler.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that a Creature Commando. I think I tried watching a few minutes of. I don't even know what I was looking at. It wasn't. It was some weird thing. I think that James Gunn is sometimes there's that sentence, and I always think of Coming to America because Eddie Murphy quotes Nietzsche or whatever it is that he says. Sometimes your first instinct is the correct one. I don't know if that's the saying, and I remember Eddie Murphy saying that to that lady. And the truth is, I always think of that sentence because it's actually very true. When we heard what James Gunn, when they're like, they're going to bring him, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, everybody already could tell what that would look like. The only way it wouldn't look like what we thought it would is if James Gunn completely surprised us and did something different than what was James Gunn. And he didn't. He went full James Gunn.
He did. He made a James Gunn Superman movie. He threw in quirky characters. He didn't focus on just one single story. It had to be a group of these different characters together, and the story kind of went all over the place, and there was quirky humor, even though apparently they cut a lot of the quirky humor out. There was still plenty of quirky humor left in there. And yeah, it that you can see the the very highly rated reply here. Please tell me someone else is writing and directing. Yes.
Yeah, that's
please.
Kata. I like Kata.
Yeah, Kata. Yeah, the Superman. David is a great Superman, and needs someone who's going to actually showcase that. You're great at your characters, but Superman just doesn't fit your style. Yep, I agree.
The truth is that everybody knew this from the
Yep.
first second. It's not like it's not a surprise or anything. That's just everybody. The truth is, I think that people like us, we've been in these circles, and we actually like these type of movies and these shows and this type of genres, and we have been in these circles for years. We know very well. It's a shame. It's a shame that David Zaslav doesn't sit with us and talk to us, because we could have saved him billions of dollars.
So yeah,
I think that like any company, whether it be Amazon or what's the other, Zaslav, Warner Brothers, any of those companies would benefit from sitting and just listening to what I had to say. And the most ridiculous part is, it wasn't necessarily okay. I'm going to choose my words carefully. I've never been in meetings with the likes of Zaslav or Jeff Bezos. That's way above my pay grade. It's not the kind of meetings I've been in. But I have been meetings with presidents of networks.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking cable. We're not talking like the number one network, whatever. We're not talking like the head of the biggest streamer, or like some big Hollywood studio. Never that. But I will say that I have actually sat with like the executives in charge of a network on a few networks on TV, and even with a number of production companies. Sometimes a few kind of serious situations that even if I said the name, somebody would probably know who that was, or whatever. But you know what's sad? They never take like they always think that they're smarter than me. In these meetings, the truth is that I've sat in those meetings, Professor, and I thought to myself, I don't want to say it. Should I say what I thought, Professor?
Go for it.
There were a few cases that I sat there and I thought to myself, I'm smarter than you. You're not good at this. You shouldn't even be in this position. You should vacate that seat now. Let me sit down and take over this operation. You don't know what you're doing. I'm better at this than you. You shouldn't even be here. That's what I was thinking to myself. And it sounds so full of myself. I'm so full of myself, Professor. But as full of myself as it sounded, there was a kernel of truth to it. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I was saying. These people are just so annoying. And the thing is that I felt, in the times that I was doing stuff more in entertainment and in different circles, I always felt like I was the odd man out. They always act like they're so smart and they know whatever. And no, like, I think a lot of times I'd feel like the odd man out because somehow my energy is more of a threat to them. They can feel in the room that I'm cutting through their weird nonsense, and that's the thing that they fear the most. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I also think that that's probably the reason why, even, though I went to these kind of events in different places, and I've, you know, I don't even want to use the term rubbed shoulders or whatever. There have been times that I've been around these kind of people. I've always felt that there was this kind of vibe of not a positive vibe towards me. I won't say that it was everybody. There's been people that have had a positive vibe, but usually the people that have had a positive vibe, they were more offbeat. They weren't the typical, like, the typical exact Hollywood thing. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyhow, I don't know why I got
Yeah.
into all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. This comment here, Adam was in the chat, was just saying something about this. Yeah. Spoiler: Luther will try to take out Superman. Eventually, Superman will defeat Luther, but won't kill him. So we get another movie. Yeah, that's how it works. That's exactly what will happen. Yeah.
Yes, and I apologize to the chat that I went on I went on a literal ego trip right now for the past
you know what, honestly, I think we probably all had some times like that when we've been in the room with some people and we're like, my God, you are a dumbass.
Yes.
Like, how did you get to this position? How did you get this job while I'm still stuck in this job, right?
It's always you and I are always going to be the ones. I wouldn't be surprised if things like that happen to you, maybe in a different type of setting. But since I know you're a smart guy, I'm sure that you've had something like that happen to you. And yes, we're always the ones that they fear the most, I think.
Yeah, you just kind of look around and you're like, I don't know how you got where you are, but you might be the dumbest guy in this room right now. Maybe it would be really beneficial for you to just shut up and like listen to the people in this room talking to you, giving you advice, because they're probably going to lead you down the right path. You in this case, do not go with your first instinct. Do not listen to Nietzsche, because you are a certified dumbass. Like, listen to the people around you, maybe giving you some better advice. It's what says DEI. No, I'm not even talking about white guys. Like that ending up in just higher level positions in academia or different places where I'm like I don't understand how you got here. Like I don't understand who you thought it was a good idea for you to be in charge of this or that or whatever. Uh, it's it's fascinating sometimes, but yeah, I'm totally with you, Price. I get it. Uh, was
Yeah, it's
this
annoying.
the evolution of the Superman suit? What? That's funny. Yeah, I know a lot of people did not like the Superman suit on the latest version. I didn't hate it that much. I did not like the S. The more futuristic angular S looks a lot like the
You
S
know,
from
I
Kingdom Come. I didn't like that so much.
if it would have been a situation where he starts the movie with a suit like this, but throughout the movie he starts thinking to himself, "How do I have like a better suit?" And by the
Yeah,
end of it, he keeps looking like better and better, and then like
yeah.
he's
It just
awesome.
it
See,
it just
okay, okay,
didn't fit him well. It just didn't fit him very well, and that was the problem. Like it needed to actually look like it would like was really like a well-fitting costume, and it never looked like it actually fit him all that well. The suit now obviously he's he doesn't have the build to really fill out like a muscle suit like some of these other guys do. I mean, you can see there, but
Henry
even
Cavill
then,
really understood the assignment.
oh,
There's nothing you
Cavill,
can do.
yeah, no, Cavill, yeah, he did the work to really work on that build and make sure that he was ready to really take on that role and really fill out that suit for the role of Superman. But I don't necessarily think that Superman has to be jacked. Just to be honest, I don't necessarily feel like he has to be like just this huge, jacked like beast mode kind of guy. But he still needs to be. He needs to be muscular. He needs to be fit. When we got the 70s, 78 Superman, he was not like huge and jacked, but he was fit, and he did have a muscular build.
What,
And
Christopher Reeve?
Yeah, he looked good in
Christopher
that suit.
Reeve, first of all, uh, I would say that when it comes to like his acting as Superman, I I like some of these other guys, but his acting as Superman for me was
Yeah,
top notch.
no
Top
question.
notch until today. Top notch, like the acting of how he acted as Clark and Superman, maybe the best. You know what I mean? Like, I really, really like his take on it. I think he did fantastic. So once you have an actor that's just so perfect, and a screenplay and a director that's really, enhancing that with the screenplay, with the and the music and all that stuff, it's all just set up so perfectly. Obviously, costumes were different back then. It's a very simple costume. He did do some weightlifting or something like that, but during those days, people didn't go like 24/7 to the gym like they do now. He did take it seriously. He looked like a guy that wasn't like a pushover, but I, I still think that even with whatever outfit Christopher Reeve had, I still think he did a fantastic job.
No, I thought Christopher Reeve looked great. Especially for the time, he wasn't doing a lot of roids or HGH or any of that stuff to get these unrealistic, build of muscles. He looked like a strong, fit, muscular man. He had that, that nice build. He fit into the costume and he looked really good in it. And the costume looked really good. Again, for the time, they can do different things with costuming now, different materials. They've got different approaches and they can do CGI cleanup after. It looked, okay, this is going to sound really insulting, but it looked like a kid wearing his dad's suit. Like the Dave Cornsweat just looked like he didn't fit into the suit. And that just was weird. Like that it just didn't eh, I don't know. It seemed strange that like there were times when it just felt like that suit was bigger than he was and he just didn't fit into it. It didn't look like it was his suit. And I don't know. Maybe Gunn thought that was some kind of, we're gonna go with something that's more comfortable for the actor, or maybe there was maybe there's a meta message about him growing into the role of Superman. I don't know what kind of BS they kind of put behind that. I don't know. The suit just did not look great on him. Did it look okay? It was okay. But it just, I don't know. I did prefer the more colorful look as opposed to going back to Man of Steel, where it's all drab and bland and flat, and you know that I never liked that. But he looked really good. Cavill looked really great in that suit, and he looked like Superman. He looked like somebody who could get up there and kick Zod's ass. And I didn't have a big problem with Corn Sweat in the role. I know there's people who did. They hated him. They thought he was just wrong for it. I didn't have that
I don't hate
reaction.
him. I really don't have anything against Corn Sweat. I think that under different circumstances, with a different suit and a different screenplay and a different director, I think that he had something to offer. When I looked at his audition, where he basically, Gunn wasn't there and he was asked to just record a video and send it, you could tell that he was coming from a place of trying to be more along the lines of Christopher Reeve. And I think that when I looked at his audition, I could see that he really understood what he needed to do as Superman. Later, you see the behind the scenes, and Gunn is like arguing with him. He's like, "No, like you don't understand. You do this, you do that." And I'm thinking to myself, "No, James Gunn, this guy actually is giving you good advice. You're acting like a douche." Because he wanted him to be all emo and weird, and I think that like Cornswood was telling him, "Hey, Superman, maybe that's not how he's supposed to be." And James Gunn kept on getting upset at him. I even remember an article that James Gunn said, like, sometimes Corn Sweat says all this stuff and I have to tell him to shut the fuck up. He said that in an interview. And I'm like, dude, maybe you should listen to that guy. He seems to have like a better grasp of how this character is supposed to act than you do.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I definitely got the feeling of that in some of the stuff that we saw, some of the behind the scenes things, his audition tape that he did, and then that one scene that we got with him, sort of talking with him about that speech that he does at the end, just kind of saying, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel like this is right for the character or something. I feel like he had a more solid instinct for who Superman was supposed to be than Gunn did. But, yeah, Gunn shut him down. He was like, "No, shut up and do your job, actor boy."
The thing is that, if he was Tarantino, James Gunn, and like the guy's like, I'm not sure, Quentin, about your character, I'd be like, dude, shut up and let Quentin Tarantino speak. But when it
Mhm,
comes to James Gunn and his quirky, weird shit, I think that Corn Sweat was trying to just give him very normal advice on the character. It also seems like Corn Sweat seems like a nice guy. He sits like, any video that you see of him, he seems kind of like a geek in a good way. I mean, he seems to like this stuff, and he seems like a genuinely nice guy. And I don't think that Gunn's bringing out the best out of him. I think he's actually bringing less than what you could get out of him, if you know what I'm trying to say.
mhm. Yeah, yep. Oh, man. Yep. Well, Gunn's gonna be making this next movie. He says, "Oh, it's gonna be Man of Tomorrow." Alright, July 9th, 2027. So, I guess that means he's already got the script written, and, it is interesting they got this, you did note this is not just, some previous art. This is a new, piece of art, specifically with, the Corn Sweat Superman. You can see the costume there. It's a 2025 Jim Lee, piece of art. So, yeah. Okay,
I
so we're getting July 9th, 2027. Sure.
People are wondering if it means that this is a team up of Superman and Lex Luthor. Maybe Zod arrived, and the only way to fight him is if you put Lex Luthor in this suit. I don't really know. I don't know why he would need specifically Lex Luthor. Why doesn't he need him at all and need him in this suit? It's a possibility, or they're going to be fighting with each other. I don't really know, but the fact that he's like with a screwdriver and they're standing side to side almost implies that they're going to be like buddy buddy or something, which I hope isn't the case.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a comic that explains this, whatever we're looking at, but you know what?
Yeah, probably there's some obscure comic somewhere that he's thinking he wants to adapt and change or
It's a
whatever, and
comic that probably
it's
came
gonna
out like a
be
week ago. It came out
yeah.
like a week ago and was written by like 7 land whales.
I don't know. When it comes to Gunn, like he tends to like some of the like older stuff. Like a lot of what I felt like maybe he was trying to make out of this Superman that we saw this time around felt like it was maybe from
The Silver
from
Age, yeah.
some of the era in the early 80s.
I
So
think that I don't know. I mean, in the 80s, I had Superman comics, and again, I haven't looked at them in many years. I don't want to say that I looked at them yesterday. I actually I don't really know where I can find them because they're not on me anymore. But you know what I used to have? I had the original Man of Steel series, like the one from the 80s, and I don't remember Superman in that one being like a bozo loser bum. I
yeah,
felt like he was
true.
Superman in those. So I don't think that James Gunn is influenced by that one specifically. Maybe he's going earlier for the Silver Era. There was a time that comic books, people were worried that they were a bad influence on the youth or something. So then they went and they started becoming a little more lame. I feel like that period of time where there's like lameness is where James Gunn thrives. I don't know why. I have no idea why.
The era of really lame comic books when yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, you go back and look at some of the Silver Age stuff, and there were some wildly interesting stories about Superman and his son and Batman and his son going on camping trips together.
Absolutely.
And then they introduced all the crazy characters like Batmite and Mr. Mixes Pitlick, and we got other stuff like Crypto and Ace, the Bat Dog. Yeah.
Because it's just kind of stupid crap. That's exactly the kind of stuff that James Gunn likes, and that's why I've never thought he was a good fit. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you something, and I've said this before, and I think that over time I feel this even more. This may surprise some people, but here's what I think. It's not even that I'm saying it now. I've been rather consistent in saying this. Zack Snyder, when he made, let's say, Watchmen, I thought that that was a good movie. I think that the big problem with Zack Snyder is that more and more he was under the impression that he needs to write everything. I had the same issues also with like Rebel Moon. I think that Zack Snyder is the type of director that if you give him a good screenplay that has everything already set up properly and he just needs to direct the movie, I think he can do, if nothing else, a serviceable enough job. I think he can pull it off. Sure, maybe you need to give him a different editor than the one that he uses and tell the new editor to stop doing those slow motion shots for an hour, but if you can tone down the slow motion and give him a screenplay that he doesn't necessarily weigh in on the story, I think that he, as a director, he's fine. I don't think that he's like the end of the world. Um, it's unfortunate. I mean, in addition to that, and this is always a situation. That's one problem, and there's no way around it. That's why in Superman you have some things that are like Paquin's death and Zod and the fighting at the end. There's certainly issues with that one, but I guess what I'm saying is that there was something else I wanted to say, but now as I was saying it, it went away. But my bottom line is that I think that as a foundation, the DCEU with that cast and that atmosphere of also being a little more gritty than Marvel, that wasn't a bad direction because we already got all the goofy and stupid humor from Marvel, and I feel like the world, especially as the years went by, and especially as like Endgame and the MCU wind down, if Warner Brothers were smart then, which they weren't, that was the time probably for that DC universe, especially like a more serious one, to thrive. Instead, what did they do? They brought Gunn so they can turn it into the MCU. And I think that that's not right for this.
No, it's not at all. It's not at
I
all.
like DC when it's a little more serious.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe Snyder's version wasn't perfect, but like I said, I think that his direction, even if the forget about the writing, the overall atmosphere was more correct there than what I see here. Like even forget about the screenplay, because I even with Batman versus Superman, I could sit and pick some things that are there apart. But when I see Batman in some of the scenes, the way he looks, and like the warehouse scene that he's like, fighting and things like that. Forget about the Martha and weird crap like that. There's moments in the movie that I'm like, this kind of looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Again, it's a very strange tug of war with myself, because alongside a moment that I'm like, wow, I really like it, then we get like I think it was Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Really doesn't work for me. Whatever's going on there with a lot of like strange things. It's such a strange ride, those movies, but I I know that there's people that like love them and adore everything about them, and there's people that like absolutely dislike them. And I guess I fall somewhere in the middle, where there's things about them that I can recognize that I think were in the right direction creatively, but for some reason it didn't. The all the pieces of the puzzle weren't fully there, unfortunately. But everything that I said now, I still think that was more in the right direction than Gunn. Gunn turning it into like a goofy Guardians of the Galaxy MCU for me, it just doesn't work. I'm not trying to be mean. Maybe some people look at it and say this is exactly what we want. We want the Silver Age with crypto. We want this stupid, lame, stupid stuff. We love it. It's fine if you love it. It doesn't work for me.
Agreed. Agreed. I get what you're saying.
And if nothing else, I mean, like again, I said, controversial movie. I know, have issues with it. I watch like Man of Steel. The beginning, you see like Jor-El, Russell Crowe. I like Russell Crowe. I like Russell Crowe as Jor-El. I like Vanessa Fisk from Daredevil as his like Kryptonian mother. I like all of that. I think it's cool. I like even the thing that they show with Zod at the beginning. I like things that I saw there. It's not that every single thing about it I said like this is the worst thing ever. I like the cast. I wish they would have given Kevin Costner a better character. I wish that he wouldn't have been an idiot that dies in a tornado or tells his son not to save kids, because I think that the casting itself of Kevin Costner is a slam dunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he's a good actor for that. I totally believe that he could be that guy,
No, yeah.
as
Yeah.
long as he's not an
Absolutely.
idiot during a tornado.
Yeah. But then they make him a complete idiot. Yeah.
Why?
They,
Why?
they,
It's the
they have him.
thing
They
that
have him
drives me
tell.
crazy until today.
They have him tell his superpowered son that his secret identity is more important than saving the lives of the other kids. In a tragic accident. Madness. Like that. Right? It's just ridiculous.
Mark D with the C. Zach's take on Soups is terrible. Doesn't get the character. I think what I said, I'll stick with it. I think the atmosphere of what happens in the movies there, the visual style, a lot of things there I like. The music, the epic feeling of the movies, the casting, and I don't think he's the worst director. I think that somebody needed to tell him, Zach, these are the screenplays. Here you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's fine. You could be a really good director, and you still need somebody to give you a screenplay. I think that after people saw people like Tarantino, they thought, oh, every director has to be a writer director.
They're all
No,
going to be auteurs, man.
right.
All of them.
Most directors are not auteurs. Most directors, it is perfectly fine to take somebody's screenplay and then to give the best, like, visual interpretation of it. There's nothing wrong with that. There Trust me, this is wonderful. You could still be a great director and do all of that. And I don't know why. I think at some point somebody like, told Snyder, you got to write everything. You got to write everything. I don't know why they told him that. I think that if you look at his earlier work, he proves that if you give him a good screenplay, he can do the job. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And in any case,
yeah, and I do agree, Mark. I did not like the Snyder take on the Superman character at all. I didn't like. I didn't like the darker take on it. I didn't like the way that they treated his his upbringing and his dad, and then
I mean,
the
this
way
all
that
ties to the same thing that I
the
was
way that
saying.
he came back to, the way that he fought Zod and then ended up killing Zod. It just none of it worked for me. None of
I
it worked
agree
for
with
me.
you. I agree. These are the things. I mean, I'll tell you this: if you took Man of Steel now, you fixed Pa Kent not being a douche and not dying like an idiot in a tornado. Already, the movie goes up in value. Like, if you fix that, it's already like, whatever score it gets, you can add about 10 points to it. Just remove that stupid, change that, and it's already a better movie. Make him not kill Zod at the end and not battle him in buildings that are being destroyed without even noticing that people are potentially dying. Change a few of those things there, and I think you got yourself a fairly decent movie. It's just like those things are things that I can't overlook, but at the same time, I don't know how to explain it. As much as those things are issues for me, James Gunn, I watched it and I'm like, this is just making a mockery. I didn't feel like those other things were making maliciously making okay. I didn't think Snyder was maliciously making a mockery of Superman. I felt that Zack Snyder needed other writers to work with him. With James Gunn, I feel like he's just quirky, goofy, Guardians of the Galaxy Gunn, and it just bends Superman to be something just that he feels like it because he's just a douche. Sorry, that's the way I see it.
Yep.
Like, I guess what I'm saying is, whatever criticisms I have towards Snyder, I feel like they're not because he's malicious. It just may be creative decisions in some cases that I don't agree with. Whereas Gunn comes off in a way that doesn't rub me the right way. Is that
Well,
a I don't
yes,
expect others to agree, but that's just my personal feeling
yes.
about
And you don't wanna rub Price the wrong way. That's,
it.
you get a rug burn.
No, I
Yeah.
don't.
Uh,
You don't- those are my 2 cents, but
yeah.
I've been rambling enough.
No, that's all right. We have a super chat we missed like half an hour ago. Let's jump back to that. That's okay. It'll change the subject for us.
Oh no,
Uh,
Mark D with the C says, I did like Affleck as Batman. Movies did look good. Yeah, I mean, listen, if now I had to choose between the way, okay, I'm going to say this final sentence and move along quickly. If I had to choose now between the atmosphere and how the movies looked, forget about the screenplay, and I'm looking at Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman versus James Gunn's Superman, hands down, I'm going with the Zack Snyder visuals. You know what I mean? That to me looks like those characters. It's not like, I don't want to go as far as some people in my comments write like Diaper Man about the James Gunn one. I don't know if he's Diaper Man, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't feel. It feels kind of CW-ish the way this last movie looked. It didn't look and feel epic to me. That's it. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the super chat?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we had a super chat here. I can share it.
It's Monty Montgomery asking, was Caught Stealing a good movie? Is that the
Yes.
one?
Yes. Yeah. I was trying to share it, but I was having some.
Let me see if I can bring it up. That sounded very naughty. Okay.
There you go.
No, this isn't what I wanted.
Oh, that's not the one.
This is not what I wanted. This didn't work out the way I thought. Hold on. Was Caught Stealing a good movie? Did I tell you about Caught Stealing? I don't even remember, Professor.
I did see a review on it.
I mean, I'll just tell you quickly. It was a movie.
Yeah.
It was a movie that was. It's as if somebody wrote a movie that was the perfect movie for Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie was born to direct this movie. Not because I think the screenplay was so great, but because if there's one person that could have pulled off something with that screenplay, maybe even doing some tweaks to it, but one person that would have understood what to do with it, how to balance the tone between criminals, wacky stuff, silly humor, maybe a few more serious beats. If there's one director that I think that could have pulled it off, it's Guy Ritchie. And for some reason, they gave this movie to Darren Aronofsky. Now, Darren Aronofsky is a credible director. He's not like some bum, but the fact that you're a good director for something doesn't mean that you're a good director for everything. I was thinking about it. There was a part in that review that I think that I initially said, and I don't know why I removed it for some reason. Maybe I was like, I had another segment to it that I was kind of rambling. Although I did, you know what? It's good that I removed it because I can say it live. If Quentin Tarantino, if you gave him the script to When Harry Met Sally, I'm sure he could direct that movie, right? I'm sure if you gave him When Harry Met Sally, Quentin Tarantino will direct When Harry Met Sally. Do I think that he is the best director to direct When Harry Met Sally? Not necessarily. Unless, by the time he's done with that movie, they're going to be pulling guns and shooting each other, and everybody around them. There's going to be like a heist, and you know what I mean? Like, it's probably, you're going to forget even that was even When Harry Met Sally by the time Tarantino is done with it. But you understand what I'm trying to say. Not every director, even if it's a good director, should be in charge of every film. The same way that not every actor is right for every role. I think that Darren Aronofsky has a certain type of movie that's right for him. I don't think that this movie was 100% right for him. And I felt that throughout the movie, and I felt that the lack of Guy Ritchie doing it is what really hurt it. Because there's very few directors that could have translated that thing to the screen. And I think that Aronofsky, as much as I rate him as a decent director, just wasn't right for it.
Yep. Well, I was just looking here to see what else we had maybe that we wanted to touch on before we were done. Gaming wise, there's absolutely nothing to talk about today except that Silk Song came out and everyone's losing their minds over that. Crashed Steam with that coming out today. My son was especially excited. It's the follow-up to Hollow Knight, and they've been working on it for like 5 years, on and off, talking about when it was going to come out, saying it was going to come out this year, and then no, it's going to delay it again, come out next year, and then finally did release today. And so that's pretty much the whole gaming internet. That's all I have to talk about now is Silk Song. So not a lot else to talk about there. I'm sure there's been some crazy something somewhere, but somebody mentioned it. Maybe it was just Phobos mentioned in the chat. And I did mention earlier some of the crazy stuff happening with the Senate that was talking to RFK today. Did you see any of that coverage?
Oh yes, I missed that. I just kept on seeing that it's like, wow, he like went in. Both parties got upset at him and demanded his resignation, but I didn't know. I guess he doesn't want the coup vax anymore or something like that.
There's been a variety of different things. I've got a few videos here we can watch. We can wrap up with this if you want. So I guess I just have to share my screen there. Let's see. Here's one with him having a rather heated conversation with Ron Wyden.
Enacting an agenda that I think is fundamentally cruel and defies common sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I get a reply? Or Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
I'm going to let Senator Wyden respond briefly to that, and then we're not going to go over like we just did.
This committee on a bipartisan basis, enacting an agenda.
So little exchange there, very heated exchange. A lot of people were talking about the exchange between him and old Pocahontas here. Watch a bit of this.
Confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
That is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is everyone who wants it. That was your promise.
I know I didn't. No, I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said,
and I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No, confirm.
Yeah. Very, very, yeah. Very heated exchanges with with a number of different senators. Yeah, that one though, him calling her out. Yeah, I know you've taken nearly $1 million from pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, it's pretty great. Of course, just like every hearing, somebody mentioned, radio streamer mentioned it. Like any of these hearings, it's all grandstanding, right? It's always like, let's see what kind of sound bites that I can get out of this. Let's see what ways that I can use this in my campaign commercials next time around, right? But as many people, Tim Hayes is also pointing out, who cares about Elizabeth Warren? She's a walking joke. Let's see.
This morning, I got the latest numbers from CDC that 76.4% of Americans now have chronic disease. This is stunning. When my uncle was president, it was 11%. 1950, it was 3%. Today, it's 76.4%. 8 out of 10 of our kids cannot qualify for military service. This is a national security issue. When my uncle was president, we spent $0 on chronic disease. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion. It's the biggest cause. It's increasing. And all of the arguments that Republicans and Democrats have about single payer, Obamacare, or the various ways of allocate the health dollars, they're all like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. If we don't end this chronic disease, we are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job. This was their job to keep us healthy.
Thank you,
and I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen again. This morning.
Okay. I don't know. What do you think, Price? Have you gotten to see any of this other stuff today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say. I understand what he's saying. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I assume that some of what he's saying is correct. I don't know enough about it, I guess. What do you think?
I think there's been a lot of evidence previously that Robert F. Kennedy is kind of an extremist on some of these different ideas. He absolutely has been somebody who has stood up against, saying, vaccines cause autism and stuff like that. When there's really there has not been the scientific evidence to prove that. On the other hand, I am also fully aware and realize that some of the stuff that he's talking about how essentially the truth is that the CDC and the departments of health, they have been corrupted by these pharmaceutical companies. So many of these people have investments, they have connections, they previously have worked or do work, with these pharmaceutical companies. And what is the motivation of these pharmaceutical companies? Well, the motivation is for them to make money. How do they make money? They keep you sick and keep pumping you full of medications. to make you sick, right? Um, as far as what he's saying, they're trying to say that he's anti-vax, he's taking the vax away from people, whatever. What he's trying to say is pretty simple. He's saying that, look, I don't think that what we have been told about the vaccines is necessarily true. I think that there's some corruption here. I think that we have evidence that some of these can be harmful to certain groups. And yeah, we had a lot of these same people in the CDC, these people that he's firing, these people he's getting rid of, that were the exact same people who tried to say, let's rush through these vaccines, let's make sure everyone takes them, let's put mandates in place to force everyone to take them, and then we're also just going to make it so that we're just going to cover up any kind of data that we might have, that there were any kind of side effects, negative impacts on people, people who are vaccine injured. We're going to cover all of that stuff up. And those people in the CDC, those people in Department of Health and Human Services, various other areas, yeah, they do need to walk. They do need to find somewhere else to be employed. They can't be trusted anymore. I think one of the things that he wants most is not to destroy big pharma. He doesn't, not to end vaccines, for everybody. I think he wants vaccines to be safe. I think he wants to have legitimate data to show that, to prove that these are safe. And if they're going to be adopted, especially be given to children, that we know that they're not going to suffer ill effects from taking them. Does that mean that maybe some of these things are going to be, have their emergency authorizations taken away or whatever? Yeah, probably. But I think has up to this point been plenty of evidence that, yeah, there were a lot of people who were vaccine injured, and it was covered up. And they had no recourse, because since they had put things forward, with emergency authorizations and stuff, they basically told these pharmaceutical companies, if people get sick, it's no big deal because they can't sue you. I'm not sure. We can watch this clip here. I'm not sure what he has to say.
We have to acknowledge that there was a cause. We acknowledge that there was a benefit. We can't quantify either one because of the data chaos at CDC. And that's all I'm saying. And they think I'm being evasive because I won't make a kind of a statement that's almost religious in nature. Did it save 1 million lives? Well, there's no data to support that. There may be data, there's no study, that there's modeling studies, there's faulty data. I'm not going to sign on to something if I can't do it to a scientific certainty. It doesn't mean that I'm, anti-vax. It just means I'm pro-science.
And oh boy, does the left ever hate when somebody starts to tell them that what they've
trust the science. Yeah,
when they try and throw trust the science back in their faces, right? Trust the science, right? So more than 1,000 HHS workers demand RFK's resignation. Well, of course they do. There are a bunch of entrenched people who all have their own ideas of what they think is supposed to be happening there, and they don't like RFK because he's stirring things up and he's trying to, change things. He's trying to make the, Health and Human Services about health again, not about, trying to push a variety of different, medications and stuff and require people to take vaccines and whatever. They're trying to make it, make it more about being proactive about helping people with their health rather than just, prescribing more medications and vaccines and whatnot. And then spending money on funding research into, viruses and gain of function research and things like that. Like many of the previous organizations under CDC and HHS and whatnot had done. So Kayla Levine, trust the science is different than the Democrats' version of trust the science. Yes, that I think that's I think that's a pretty good way to put it, right? What exactly are we calling science? Are you calling it science just because some expert stepped up and said, "Hey, this is what I think, and this is why we should do it this way," or is it actual science because it's actually peer reviewed? It's actually been, thoroughly, uh, you know, thoroughly tested. That's one of the things that he's actually been talking about. He's like, we're not going to publish research anymore that where we're not just going to give the data to everybody so that they can go out there and look at it and they can replicate it and then try it again. That's the core of the scientific method. If I have, something that I have done as some observation that I have made through the scientific method, then I should be able to take that data and show that to anyone. They should be able to go and take the protocol that I used, you do it again and replicate it, get the same results. That's how the scientific method is supposed to work. It's not supposed to be, oh, we did this. Here's what we found, and you just have to trust us on this, bro. This is the way things have to be. That's not science, right? That's not real science anyway. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on about this up there today. Oh, Price, what is this? What is this that you've got for us?
Well, I just thought it was funny because Sarah Michelle Gellar was saying that Buffy, the reboot, is going to honor the original's show's DNA, meaning it's not going to be this kind of woke whatever. And then I looked, and you know who's like the person that's like the producing and directing the pilot or whatever it is? It's Chloe Zhao.
No.
And man, Chloe Zhao is like the opposite of me thinking that anything is going to be honored here. I really don't rate Chloe Zhao. I'm sorry. Chloe Zhao, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, and Disney did her dirty, but in my opinion, Chloe Zhao, her strength is if you have like a movie that's taking place in a forest with two people walking around in the forest for like an hour, that's her strength. I don't think that, I don't know that she can do anything else.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Sometimes you have
no,
these
I totally, yeah,
you have
I
these kind
totally
of
get it.
indie movies. I'm not knocking it. It's fair enough to have an indie movie where there's just like nothing happening and there's just a bunch of scenery or whatever. Sometimes that's a certain genre. It's a niche, and some people like it. And if you're good at it, that's fine. You'll notice that almost every indie movie that's ever been made wastes so much time. It has like the main, whoever the protagonist or whatever it is like walking around, and you're just walking with him from street to street. The
Yeah.
reason why is because they don't have a lot of money. What annoys me about it is that they still had some money to put something together. You may as well write a screenplay. I don't like the idea of some guy walking in a forest, but Chloe Zhao is the very definition of man walking in a forest, if you understand what I'm saying.
It's lady sitting on a folding chair outside of a trailer park. Like
Exactly that.
Just
And like,
sitting there staring at the sunset, thinking about the profound meaning of life and all of that stuff. While her boyfriend and a wife beater behind her is yelling at her or whatever. Like that's a Chloe Zhao movie. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
I told you this before that I don't really get these invites anymore. Although back in the day, I would sometimes get invited to these kind of early screenings of smaller indie movies. Sometimes smaller indie movies with legitimate actors that you know, and they would be these kind of more intimate movies. I've seen enough of them that I've seen enough of them to get annoyed, because like I would sit there and think to myself, I get it. You didn't have $100 million, but you know what? Somebody gave you maybe $1 million, and if you gave me $1 million, I would put something together that at least has some dialogue of people talking, some kind of plot. Would it be the best thing that ever happened? Probably not. There's only so much that your money can go, but I would work so hard. I would work so hard to take that $1 million and to make something that at least I can be proud of, that tells some kind of story. It may not be the best thing that ever happened. You may notice that it's not the production value of a $100 million movie, but you know what? Maybe you could at least see some care and some thought or anything at all. It just, I have no respect for people that do the walking in the forest. I am against walking in the forest, and I have no respect. If you're filming walking in the forest and you call that an indie movie, I have no respect for you.
Damn, I'm gonna have to rewrite my script for the indie movie because there was a lot of walking in the
And
forest.
like I said, that's why Bryan Cranston got upset. Although he wasn't in a forest, he was in an attic. He was in an attic. Man, you've never seen that movie. I don't recommend it. I don't want you to
I don't want to see this movie, but I remember you talking about
I
it.
don't
Yeah,
want
just
you
the
to
guy,
suffer.
guy stuck in an attic for the whole movie.
You deserve not to suffer, but I am telling you that if you ever just catch a glimpse of him sitting in the attic,
Yeah.
and I think that you'd understand why until this day I think about it and I get annoyed. This was all from Monty Montgomery saying was caught stealing a good movie.
Yep.
And the final thing I wanted to forgot about caught stealing, it has like in the main role, it has Austin Butler and it has Zoe Kravitz. You know, these guys aren't the worst actors, but they're also not the best necessarily. I don't know that they're so right for their roles. It's a movie that has Matt Smith in it, and it feels like, first of all, if you have Matt Smith in your movie, that's already like a big plus. Do something cool with Matt Smith. Like, honestly, I understand that I guess the guy was supposed to be American and maybe Matt Smith, I don't know if he could do an American accent. Maybe he wasn't right for
Yeah.
that role. But I would have rather seen Matt Smith as some kind of protagonist or give him something else to do in the movie. I
Yeah,
just
that's
feel
what
like,
when I
why
saw
even
your
bring him there if you
review.
don't know what to do with him?
When I saw your review, I was so frustrated because it was you were like you basically said like he's just like a side character. He's barely in it. I was like,
Ye-
why would you do that with Matt Smith? He is so charismatic as an actor. He's so great with his roles and his delivery. Why would you waste someone like Matt Smith on just a little, tiny little role on the side? It's frustrating.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. There's a lot of things that, that don't work. It has a decent. Also, I mean, I'm trying to think if they utilize. Okay, the only characters that were utilized properly were Vincent D'Onofrio and Liev Schreiber, who like play two Hasidic criminals that are brothers that are like dangerous criminals, but like Hasidic dangerous criminals. Those were the only two things in the movie. Them and their mother, which was played by like veteran actress Carol Kane. Those three. I watched it and I said, okay, if you just took away all these other characters and you showed me a movie with these three characters, I'd want to see more of that. Because
Yeah,
I thought that they were intriguing.
that was in the trailer, and that was one of the things in the trailer that I was like, okay, that looks. I kind of like this, right? Because you saw the bit with the three of them together, and she's serving them up some matzo ball soup,
Right, and they're
and
criminals,
they're
and
like,
it's funny.
eat it, or she's gonna be mad.
Right, and the reason why even in the movie that part works is like they're these like criminals, but they're trying to eat her soup, and like they're bringing him along. It's just like all very quirky and weird. I still think that Guy Ritchie would have done a much better job with it, but I will say that if nothing else, the casting of D'Onofrio, Schreiber, and Kane, great. There's so much more that could have been explored there, but at the end, it's just kind of an afterthought. Matt Smith is an afterthought, and the main people you see all the time is like Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz. I would rather see less of them and more of those other people, but that's just my personal opinion. So that's what I thought about that whole situation. I also just learned now that the star of this new Buffy show is going to be the girl from Skeleton Crew.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I mean, I don't want to be mean to the girl. Skeleton Crew, whatever was wrong with it, was probably not that young actress's fault. I
No,
can't like
not at all.
I
You
can't
can't blame the kids for that.
can't blame the kid for it. It's not fair. It's like it's not like Kathleen Kennedy had a string of wins and
Yeah.
suddenly like they brought the kids and they told them be in Skeleton Crew and the kids ruined it. Whatever happened there, I didn't I didn't have any issue with the kids.
Yeah.
They weren't the ones that I was annoyed with. I was
Yeah,
annoyed
yeah.
with the show. I was annoyed with so many things about Lucasfilm, but I didn't sit around thinking, oh, these kids wanted a job. Somebody said, hey, this is considered good. You're getting paid and you're in something like it's a Star Wars. It's considered a big deal. It's good for your resume. Do you want to do it? And they said, sure. And I can't be angry at them. You know what I mean?
No, I didn't have trouble with any of the kids that were in that. They were not, they were not sometimes you do get kids that are in these things and
They tried their best.
they're irritating. The kids are irritating. And then you kind of, you just don't want to see any more of them. And, maybe that's because they weren't receiving the kind of direction that they need. But yeah, I wasn't really bothered by any of the kids that were in that. I thought they all were fine. But yeah, uh, yeah, a resume booster that is, right? Oh, look, I was in Skeleton Crew. Oh boy. Yeah, for me, somebody said something. Oh, Stephen Mack said it's going to get one season. No, Stephen Mack, it's not how they do things anymore. It's going to get 2 8-episode seasons. And they're going to be filmed 3 years apart.
Now, I'm sorry to bring
Everyone
this
will
one up
forget
again.
about it by the time the second season arrives, and then it will have absolutely no fanfare. It will collapse under the weight of nobody watching it, and then there will be no more.
Speaking of Skeleton Crew,
What?
does it look Photoshop? Like not Photoshop, but like the old school Photoshop? I wonder to myself.
Airbrushed, sort of cut and pasted together. Okay.
I mean, some people thought that. I wonder to myself.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard to say because it's such an old picture.
Mm-hmm.
He is standing in a weird position, but
Oh, Lee Harvey.
there's
Is he standing in a weird position because that's actually Sam in there and he's kind of uncomfortable being Lee Harvey?
Were we supposed to be able to see what this newspaper says? I mean, wasn't the whole idea that he stands with a newspaper that you know what day he's standing with the newspaper?
I suppose, yeah. I don't know.
Otherwise, because I can't tell
Maybe
what the news.
maybe it's more visible in some other some other capture.
Otherwise, why is he
maybe.
standing with it? It seems like I don't know. I'm not saying that they pasted that guy's face on there, but it's really hard to tell. Like, if it turned out that they pasted his face, it wouldn't be a complete shocker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is just a few seconds before Sam looks in the mirror and says, "Oh boy."
Anyhow, how did we get to that? Because initially we talked about Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't
Yeah,
even know why
that
we
was
talked about
that was coming all the way back around. I think that was all the way for the first few minutes.
all the way from the first thing. We went full circle. That's how
Oh,
we go
man.
here on the Night Owl. We
There
start
you
off
go.
one thing, we
It was-
go to another thing.
It's
We've
the weave. It's the weave. We're working on Donald Trump's weave. Trying to in and out and all sorts of things mixed together, and then
Absolutely. I'm
And
just
then
going
we
to
get
check
there in
one
the
more
end.
thing.
Yep.
If you want to tell jokes.
Tell jokes. You get more Beatles questions out of the Trivial Pursuit.
Uh,
Oh yeah. I'm just kind of checking
Silk
up on
Song.
chat.
Do you know anything about Silk Song?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's kind of the game news for the day. That's it. Like everything else is shut down. No one else cares. A bunch of games actually even moved their release date so that they weren't going to be anywhere near Silk Song when it came out today. So, yeah, because it's as I said, it's been it's an indie. It's made by a small team. I think they've got like 4 people. A really small studio. But they produced Hollow Knight back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a huge hit and everyone loved it. It's a real it's sort of Metroidvania platformer, but it's also a roguelite. So you get to you get to you get some of your progress, some stuff stays, and then but if you die, you lose some of your progress, you lose some of the stuff that you've done. But it's huge. There's a huge fan base for Hollow Knight, and so this was the follow up to Hollow Knight. They've been working on this for quite some time now, and they've had multiple different times when they said, "Oh, it's going to come out, it's going to come out." It hasn't, and then finally, yeah, the wait is over. It has come out. It crashed Steam today. It crashed the Steam platform. So many people were rushing in to pick this up. And yeah, I mean, so far it's not really my cup of tea game wise. My son absolutely loves it. He loves the Hollow Knight game, and so he's been anxiously awaiting Silksong coming out. And so he's been playing that ever since he got home from school today, and he says he's having a great time, really enjoying it. So says it's a real fun, solid follow up. Don't know story wise. Obviously, it's actually a rather lengthy, or at least the first one was a rather lengthy, rather difficult game. But yes, so far it looks like the feedback's been pretty good. So yeah, that kind of ate up all the air in the room as far as video game news today.
You know what was a difficult game? Friday the 13th for Nintendo Entertainment System. That was a very difficult. I don't think you could finish that game.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of it now.
Oh God,
I
there
was like
one.
the king of Nintendo, and I couldn't figure out how to finish that stupid game.
Yeah, I cannot remember. There was a game that drove me insane because I liked it so much, but it was so insanely difficult. It was on the Genesis. Comic Zone. Did you ever play that one? You were a character and you were sort of dropped in, and it was like comic book panels. Like you were a comic book character and you were stuck in comic book panels, and you would fight from one comic book panel to another. But like it was so much fun, and the whole idea was really cool, and the art style was great, had solid music, but it was so hard. And I always was so frustrated with it. I have not picked that game up in ages. I wonder if I went back to it, if it wouldn't be any any easier. But Stephen Mack says Batman Returns on the Atari Lynx nearly killed me. Oh my gosh, I had an Atari Lynx. I was the only person I knew had an Atari Lynx, but I thought it was such a cool system, and it had a color screen, and it was basically an Atari 7800, which was equal to, maybe in some ways a little bit better than an NES on a little color screen. But yeah, I had a Lynx growing up. Bought that with my own money, lawn mowing money. And yeah, the thing I played the most on the Atari Lynx, I had Rampart, which was sort of a little puzzle action game where you would build a little castle, you'd place your cannons, you had to defend it from all the ships that were sailing in and trying to take your castles and invaders and stuff. And I don't know, for some reason I loved that game. But that and Scrapyard Dog, I believe was the name of it, was another Lynx game that I loved.
I got a surprise for you before we go.
Yep.
This is the movie with Bryan Cranston in the attic. And this is a scene from that movie. Are you ready?
Oh boy.
What
I never used to say
torture this movie is.
That's worth noting.
And yeah, I know in reality Bryan Cranston says a lot of dumb stuff, but he is a good actor.
He's a stellar actor. I think he's so good, which it breaks my heart to know that he really is like a, pretty crazy lefty. But man,
weirdo, yes.
He's such a stellar actor.
He really is. He's a phenomenal actor. And to bring him, and you can say, well, she only had $1 million to make. You only had $1 million? Do anything. Anything. This guy can act. He could do whatever you tell him to. You got him for a movie, and you got a budget. You have something. Yeah, I understand it's not like some big project. He's interested. Find something to do with him.
He could be in Coen Brothers movies, Price.
That's what I told. That's what I told him after I saw this.
I know.
This is the reason why he got annoyed. But now, do you understand why I said it? Do you understand? I couldn't bring myself to tell him that I like this movie, and I think that's where my problem started. that I didn't. Everybody else told him how great he was in the movie, and I didn't say that because it's not that he wasn't good in the movie. I just thought the movie itself, he was not worthy of his presence as an actor.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Hey, Brian, got to be honest with you. The movie wasn't worthy of your presence. So instead I said, hey, have you ever thought of working with the Coen brothers? It was the best advice anybody has
No,
ever
I've
given this
never
man.
thought of that before. Random person.
It was the best advice that anybody had ever given him. Anyhow, that was that, and I guess at this point, unless do you want to talk about B-roll or anything you want to
Oh well,
plug?
we will. If Adam's still in the chat, make sure you're posting those links, buddy. We will be doing B-roll tomorrow, and I should be there. Be the usual crew. B-sides over on B-roll. That's both on YouTube. As far as I know, it's still on YouTube. Adam applied for monetization again on during the stream last week. So we'll see what comes of that after he's thrown away a whole bunch of content on the channel and everything to try and get them to shut the hell up about reuse content and whatnot. But yeah, also over on Rumble with again B-roll stage B-sides. That's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 p.m. Over there in Pacific time. And yeah, we'll be riffing on a movie. Oh gosh, what was it? It's How to Make a Monster. It's about a Hollywood like movie, special effects that makes up the monster makeup on people, and then he actually starts turning people into monsters with the makeup he puts on them. It's rather cheesy, but fun film. But yeah, we'll be doing that tomorrow night, and then yeah, we'll be back here on Tuesday. Don't know if I'll be on with Brown this weekend or not. Got a lot of travel going on this weekend. I'm going to go celebrate my mother's 70th birthday, so that's going to be a blast. So we'll have some fun with that. So, but yeah, that's all I've got. See, I'll send you the. I'll send you the names for all of our friends over there on Rumble so you can read out some names here. And I'll work on getting our YouTube names together.
Well, on Rumble, we have Istophobos, Phantom Monk, Double R Star, Dude Bro Seth 420, Cheers, K Burton 1, Freedom 76, Kivo 1961, who also sent a super Rumble rant. Istophobos also sent a Rumble rant, 2 of them, I think. Sal the Hamster, Tim M. Hayes, Sean.
Yeah, Tim Hayes.
Yeah, no, I just wasn't used to the M. I'm
Yeah.
like, Tim M. Hayes, because I'm used to him as Tim Hayes.
Timum.
Right, it confused me. Sean Linane, Radio Streamer, and Rowdy Dowdy. And Marla Sharonov. I feel I saw the movie How to Make a Monster. I feel like Marla Sharonov was pretty quiet until now.
Mark Ducey says, "Happy birthday to your mom, Princess Leia." Wouldn't it be Padme? Wouldn't she be them? Okay, I don't know. Let's see. We got our friends over on YouTube, which actually worked. So we had a stream on YouTube today.
Yeah, it was looking grim there for a minute, but at the end it somehow
concerned.
worked.
Let's see. We had Murrockstro, Badfoot, Phantom Monk, Caleb Levine, Mark S47, Zonar J5, Yitis, Bishop Judas, Marla Sharondoff, Tim Hayes, Istophobos, Jim Noxious, Samsung, Tomahawk 511, Adam Gray, Mark D with a C. I have Nerdick, Stephen Mack, Malachi D. Wildman, Darren M. Lasher, Piku, Monty Montgomery, David Costin, and Ace Hanlon. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. It's glad to see you here. And those of you just lurking or watching on the rerun, thanks for being here. Give us a like if you haven't yet. Follow, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment after the video, and we would appreciate it.
Yeah, so I guess now that we've gone through all of this stuff and we've said bye to everybody, and yeah, it's been fun. We really enjoy hanging out with you all, and we enjoy doing this every Tuesday and Thursday. I say this sometimes. I really appreciate this great community of people that we have here. There's so many people that we see them here regularly, and I like the conversations we have and this kind of thing that we do. So I want to thank you guys for
Yeah.
being here. I want to thank you, Professor, for co-hosting the show.
Yes.
And I guess in this positive spirit we're in, we can sign off and say goodbye for now. And we'll see you all on Tuesday.
Take care and have a great day, Night Owls.
Bye.